And Google has told me that we have finally gone live against all expectations. Out here on the fringes, at the edge of the empire, we do have hangouts. Joining me today are several intrepid people taking on new roles in the Star Wars universe for a mostly improvised session. If you were around for the first one with Andre down there marked as Gavin Fell, that was an entirely improv session which began from nothing and ended up going somewhere. And this is where we're taking it after that. This will be run more closely to how I would usually run a game, that is, having a sense of where the characters are and who they might meet. So you may notice a difference in style somewhat. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves before we go, how about we start with David, and then I'll tag the next person.
Sure. I'm David. I've been playing Edge of the Empire now for over a year with Runeslinger, and great game. I'm over here in South Korea, so that's about it. Oh, I guess I should. My character.
Yeah, who are you? Who are you?
I'm playing Zero, who is a Rhodian big-game hunter. He's out for basically in search of his white whale, as it were.
Okay. Lawrence?
Okay. I am an Alderaanian doctor, and recently I've developed a heavy drinking problem because of the destruction of Alderaan. I've recently signed up to be a colonist on this planet. However, it did not turn out to my expectations, and I meet this crew.
Okay. John?
Okay, I am John, and I'll be playing a IG-100 bodyguard droid during this game. I've played in a one-off with Runeslinger before, and I'm running a Star Wars game myself that I've just started with, like 2 games into that now, and my character's nickname is Iggy.
Okay. And finally, Andre.
Hello, my name is Andre, and I'm playing Gavin Fell, Captain Gavin Fell to some, but he's an explorer Fringer, and he's not mentally stable, and his best friend is his ship, and he's quite off his rocker, but he does have good intentions, and he has been commissioned by a slave trader in the local planet that we're beginning the story in to kind of survey this crystal temple that we find him in, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I know it's terrible timing for John and Andre. It's pretty good for those of us over here on the other side of the Earth, but let's make it happen. All right. Like any good Star Wars event, we should have words. And here they are. All right. So, Star Wars, Session 2, The Legacy of Pain. Hard times have befallen the so-called settlers of Verdan VIII, a tropical archipelago world of dormant volcanoes, hallucinogenic foliage, and massive creatures. Speckling the surface are immense crystal growths of high clarity and deep blue hue. Preliminary reports suggest these crystals may prove lucrative in the arms market, if the miners survive. Gavin Fell has been coerced into investigating the crystals and improving production of mining operations. He believes he is alone on a small island, marked by a shattered volcanic cone and a mysterious temple, carved from a towering deposit of the unknown blue crystal. He is not alone. This is the edge of the Empire. Danger will always keep a person company. All right. Let us begin with the traditional. Let us check to see whose obligation is active, if any. I have rolled a 67, which brings us into the obligation territory of Gavin Fell. You are under more strain, sir.
All right.
And appropriately so. We have you. This is actually the new obligation, the duty-bound obligation, which you accrued last time.
And how much strain do I suffer? 2?
You get 2, because I didn't roll 66. I didn't roll doubles, so you don't have to take 4.
All right.
And could we have our destiny pool generated, please?
Yep.
Awesome.
Starting with 1 dark.
And
Another dark.
2 darks.
there you go.
2 light.
Oh, good job, Dave.
All right. All right, so 3 to 2. Well, that's not so bad. All right. Now, not being an artist by any stretch of the imagination, I have put together an exciting matte painting that I'd like to share with the rest of you, showing off my graphical and technical skills. Please gaze in awe at this wonder. We have in the far left corner, we have Gavin's ship, Foggy Horizon, which has landed on the edge of this small island. And that large purple smudge in the center is the towering top of the mostly obscured temple. I will now get rid of that image, and we will not speak of it again. As the very old ship settled to the beach, all of the survivors therein were able to see it land. And from it strides a heavy man whose gaze is probably captured by the large temple glittering in the sunlight, as pretty much everyone else's were when they arrived. Scattered across the beach, scattered up the rise toward the shattered base of the volcano, are discarded mining equipment, the shattered bodies of droids, loading gear, and small cargo vessels. The remains of tents are strewn everywhere, and it is silent.
Not exactly the welcoming party I expected, but let's keep on looking around. He just keeps on walking towards the temple.
Okay. Leaving the area of the ship, you go up a short rise. Grasses are knee-length, similar in design to the grasses you saw on the highlands, which may have their hallucinogenic properties if allowed to touch skin. Soon you will enter knee-high underbrush, and then very soon after that into towering tall tropical trees which are swaying gently. Shattered bits of fruit are around, some with hard shell, some with a soft shell, and small little things are beginning to scuttle in the undergrowth.
Gavin looks around. He starts taking samples of what he can, watches out for necrophil, takes short breaths to ensure that he's not inhaling any spores that might cause any problems. After talking to Captain 8, he knows to at least be a little bit more careful than he had been when he first arrived on the planet. He just continues on walking, taking his samples, and if there's anything that he would take that would be of any noteworthy mention, I guess that would be cool to know here.
All right. Now, those of you in the undergrowth can hear the slow and steady progress of a single pair of feet into the tall grass.
Well, I'm going to take out my trusty rifle and start just checking through the scope to see if I can see what's coming upon us.
That's an awesome image. Okay. Does the scope have any particular features, or is it purely optical?
Just adds. Well, I have my hunter goggles on as well.
Ah.
The scope itself. Load faster. Is a telescopic sight, so it just reduces difficulty for long range. So it doesn't actually add any bonuses.
Okay.
It's just I can see a little bit further, I think.
Well, you can definitely see signs of the trees moving in the wind and signs of motion down below, coming up from the beach. When he does catch sight of Gavin, what exactly would he see?
He would see a absolutely unfit, portly man that looks like he's been sitting on a ship entirely too long. He's wearing light drab type clothing, something that wouldn't even allude to the fact that he's a captain of anything. He almost looks peasant-like. But he does have a heavy blaster that is pretty good condition at his side. He seems to be holding a data pad and using the data pad to analyze some samples of the earth and the insects and the plant life that are around him. And as he's doing this, he's kind of humming to himself, going,
So you're in near enough range that the hum is coming to you on the light breeze. When the breeze is blowing towards you, you can hear it, and when it goes into a lull, you're not really sure if you still can. As this character makes his way up the hill.
Well, I'll just basically sling my rifle back on my shoulder and basically, in kind of disgust that it actually isn't some kind of animal of some sort coming out, kind of figured it was some kind of sound that something larger was coming.
Feeling a little bit more relaxed, I'll take a swig of my flask and ask him, "What is it?"
No, just a human.
All right. Well, nothing to worry about then. Or maybe.
I imagine that Iggy's moved up onto the sort of rise next to Zero, and he's sort of looking out. Since I've got built-in macro binoculars, I imagine his eyes sort of like extend out slightly as he's sort of scanning into the distance and sort of watching this this person moving around, humming with his presumably handheld scanner.
Right.
Holding a gun myself, sort of tracking his movements.
Now, from your vantage point, part way up the volcanic rise of this island, you can just see the top of his ship where it set down on the other side of the dune that he crossed. And he's making his way. He's hit the tree line now, but you'll be able to keep him in sight because the distance between the bases of the trees is quite large. And he's entering into the spot that was the original campsite for the miners, which has been utterly destroyed. All of the machinery that was used to break apart the crystals into manageable pieces, to splinter it along its internal structure lines, has been torn asunder. The housing has been scattered. The droids have been scattered. The loading bots, the hover sleds, everything has been torn apart. And that's the area that Gavin is entering now.
Gavin.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was going to say I'll sort of look across to the Zero sort of standing in there, and I'll just say,
registering one human conducting some sort of mineralogical analysis of the wreckage.
Thank you, Iggy.
That's awesome.
Seems like our medic is feeling no pain this morning.
Oh yeah, I'm clearly drunk.
Right.
All right, Gavin starts to look at the debris, the broken up droids, the destroyed drilling units, the crystal that has been torn down from the temple at certain specific areas, and the overall impression that he gets is that the facility was not shut down in the way in which it was conveyed by Captain 8. And he is absolutely furious. And he looks up he pulls out like a little transceiver and he goes, "Foggy, he tricked us!" And he puts the communicator back in his pocket and he starts just wandering around going, "What the heck kind of mess is this? What's going on here?" He just starts looking around, picking up droid arms and throwing them over his head. "This is ridiculous!" Just keeps on going forward, just with anger in his eyes.
Now that you're close to the destroyed material, you can see what the others in the bushes already know. There are no blast points. Nobody fired weapons that would cause harm that you're used to from a blaster or perhaps even an illegal disruptor. They were not shelled or blown apart by grenades. They've been shattered, is the only real word that fits.
Gavin's too dumb to realize that.
He is free not to know.
Yeah, he as far as he's concerned, some really bad shit went down here. He's just like, he has no idea what's going on.
So have we seen this area as well?
Yes.
Right. I maybe perhaps Zero will kind of basically mention to Iggy and say maybe we should check it out a little bit further, and I guess bring this one along, and basically Zero will point to the drunk, see what we can get out of this to fix maybe our ship, see if we can get some parts.
Received and understood.
Okay. So he's yelling up quite a storm. How do you intend to approach him?
I figure based on my hunting experience, I would kind of do it in a way to basically like I'm approaching a very violent animal of some kinds. I mean, kind of perhaps downwind, make sure I don't rustle too many feathers. I could even actually do a stealth check and kind of raise my hands and make sure I'm not holding any weapons.
Okay. Well, are you are you going to slip off by yourself?
No, I'm hoping that someone will follow me.
I'm quite happy to follow you, but you will know that my droid is built for many things, stealth not being one of them.
All right. Well, I won't walk stealthy. I'll just walk kind of like as not to disturb the ravings.
I'll cause a distraction by just drunkenly like walking out into the open and help with that stealth check for Dave. So
Okay.
Gavin will just see me, oh god, empty, and then start walking, searching for more bottles that have been strewn around, looking for alcohol, basically.
Gavin goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, whoa, whoa! What's going on here? Who are you?"
Who the hell are you?
He puts his hand out, puts his other hand on his pistol. "What do you mean? Who are you? What? And he starts to look for cover, and he's just like, running around in complete circles, absolutely doing nothing to put himself concealed and in cover. He is
Karn will completely
scared.
ignore that and keep searching for bottles on the ground.
I believe our cover may be compromised.
Gavin still, he knows that he can't find any place that's safe to conceal or cover himself from the individual that has revealed himself. So he just stands with his hand on his blaster. He's not pointed his blaster. He just has it on his hand at his hip, and kind of just waiting to see what's going on. And he says, "Okay, who are you, and why are you here? Are you part of the working party that has been destroyed?"
Was part of it. Now I'm just a drunk. Leave me alone.
A drunk.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep looking for more booze, completely ignoring Gavin.
Wait, what are you looking for?
You got any alcohol on you?
Drunk. No, I do not have any alcohol on me. He lets go of his pistol, and he just looks back at the entrance of the crystal temple, and he says, wait, you were part of this party?
I was.
What happened?"
Beats me. Fell asleep. Next thing I know, something's attacking us. Wake up to this.
Are you alone?
Yes.
So upon, I guess, hearing the alone parts, I'll come out of the brush and with my hands up, all green tentacle-like, and basically just say, he's not alone. And we're actually not with him, but...
Hey man, I patched you up. You would have died without me.
I'll follow along some way behind Zero, the sort of blaster rifle slung around my shoulder. I'm sort of leaning on a large sort of stick that has electricity apparently moving around both ends of it with a slight sort of clanking sound as I emerge from the bush.
Okay, that is scary. And he just points at the droid. He's very intimidated by the droid. He's like, "Why? What are you all here for?" "I'm here to survey the temple."
Okay. The name's Karn. I'm, I guess, an ex-slave. Well, now that my workplace has been destroyed, anybody want to give me a lift off the planet?
I can give you a lift, but it's going to be quite a ways walk from here. Plus, I have some duties to fulfill before I'm going to depart. You're welcome to accompany me, but it's your call. And I may be able to get you some of that alcohol.
Your duties? Duties for who? Who are you working for?
An exclusive individual that has no name that of any interest to you. Just rest assured he has... now moment of clarity completely passes for Gavin. He has absolutely no ties to slavery or imperial issues or anything whatsoever.
Now, Gavin, Karn has a familiar accent.
All right, good. I'll work with that. Good.
And Karn, could I have a check for you?
Yep.
For medicine.
Okay. Versus, what's the difficulty?
You're an expert on this. Let's make it a 2.
Okay. I have mastered. I think I can take this. All right. Here we go. Yeah, I succeeded with 2 advantages.
Nice.
Okay. Now, while Gavin is freshly cleaned, he's clearly hungover. And probably hasn't been eating too well out here on the fringes, despite his great bulk. Malnourished a bit, but yes, if he wasn't absolutely passed out in the dirt last night from drinking, you are not a doctor.
You are such a liar. You have booze on you, don't you? Fork
All
it
right,
over.
Look. I don't have it on me. We had an issue last night. I got into my employer's what would you say, liquor cabinet. We had a little bit of a party, and since then I have departed the location, ended up here. You find me in this glorious condition that I'm in right now. And by the way, your accent, Old Loranian?
How did you know? You're Alderaanian too.
Yeah, but yeah. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
What are you
God.
doing here?
Well,
I mean, obviously, ex-slave
by
of the
this-
story, but go ahead, go on.
I got tricked by this guy. He was a real smooth talker. What was his name?
8.
8? His name was 8. Convinced me that we were on a colony ship to this planet. Turns out he was just looking for unpaid help.
Unpaid help. Really? You say his name is 8, huh?
Yeah.
What is the what is where is he now? I mean, obviously, whatever commission he gave you is no good. Why are you even here? Why don't you just leave?
Well, he had, I guess, hired guns, hired help to keep us in line. But yeah, I can leave now. No problem with that. I just need a ship.
Well, I've got a ship. You're gonna stay with me. Us Alderanians are gonna stick together. I can't have you staying down here. Just follow me in this temple for a bit, and when we're done here, we'll get out of here, and I'll make sure that you're safe.
With plenty of booze.
With plenty of booze.
So I think
While this
during
conversation is going on. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh no, go ahead, Iggy.
No, I was just going to say that during the conversation, I'll have turned to yourself.
And so, I recommend, given the state of our ship, that we also accompany him.
Sorry, what was that again?
We'll also need a way off the planet. I recommend we accompany them.
That's a good plan. We do need a ship, though I still need to get something. And I kind of look off into the jungle. But
Everything slows down for a moment.
as I just look up. And I guess while they were having their little meeting and trying to figure out alcohol, before I'll kind of just rummage around in the tracks to see if I notice any particular animal tracks of any kinds. Because if there is no blaster fire, like just to try and figure it out. So,
All right.
Um,
Okay, let's start there. So as a renowned, or, wanting to be renowned
yeah,
hunter,
I think the latter.
you're prepared for these kind of environments. And when you were here before, it was night. It was difficult to see. Just enough the devastation was evident, and a good reason to get out of the way. But here you are again, and Karn has been tossing things aside in his mad quest for more beverages, and things have been revealed. To the naked eye, there is what looks like a very narrow channel, such as might be cut by running water, except water wouldn't cut a channel in this place, in this way. Something long was dragged, but it also swept from side to side. And it would be about the width of a human torso, this channel. And looking around as they discuss their need for Alderanians to stick together and drink together is when you find the footprint, which would be several chest widths across. And if you'd like to know more about it, you could investigate with your lore or survival skills.
Could I use xenealogy?
Absolutely.
I will try that. What would the difficulty of that be?
Well, sadly, the difficulty is going to be hard and with a setback, but
hardest 3, correct?
Yep.
I miss it. And I don't think I can. Can I remove a setback considering I'm looking at tracks and I have expert tracker?
Yep.
Right. So I'll remove the
Is there
setback.
any chance that I can assist Zero doing this to give him a bonus dice while he's doing that?
Absolutely.
Well, let's give it a roll.
2 successes.
Yes.
All right. No advantages, no threats. One of the things that brought you here was just the tiniest of rumors that a lot of the larger fauna, I guess we could really call it the megafauna of the planet, had unusual abilities to hunt. Anyone who managed to bag one would, of course, become famous, or at least notorious in some way. Gavin has already himself witnessed one element of this, in that he saw a massive aquatic beast which clearly was able to hunt with a sonic emission. He felt like he was almost shot out of the sky with it. What you have found has a similar footprint to a dewback, but significantly larger. And it's possible that this is the footprint of the animal you were enticed here to kill.
All right. Excellent. So basically, I'm looking at this footprints. My eyes, obviously, they're large already. Get even larger. And I'll turn to Gavin and say, we'll help you find whatever's in there if you can get us off this rock.
Deal. Let's go. Gavin's in no mood to continue the conversation outside. He's just, at this point in time, he's found another Alderanian. He's got allies now to go into a temple that he has to survey. He's in the point right now where he feels it's probably going to be safer inside the temple. So he just starts to walk at a regular pace, not in a dismissive manner, but just like, okay, now let's get to business.
As we're walking across the site, I'll be sort of poking over some of the ruined droids with the edge of my pike, just to see if any of them look like they're in any condition where they could possibly be repaired by an appropriate technician.
They have been blown apart along, I guess we would say, normal fault lines, like broken apart at joints. But in many cases, torso areas or head areas are likewise shattered, as if they were like glass.
Anthony, are there any bodies like lying around?
Yes, there are bodies, and shattered like glass is also an appropriate way to describe how they were killed. Now, they're not in pieces, but they are crushed or pulped in a similar fashion.
Using medical background, could I figure out what type of weapon or claw,
Let's try.
let's say?
Let's try in your drunken stupor.
Sure. You can add setback if you'd like.
Well, thanks. I would.
How many would you like?
I would like to add 2 setback dice.
All right.
The difficulty for the check will be hard.
Okay, and I'll use Master Doctor to reduce that by 1.
Okay.
Nope. 2 advantages, though.
Okay. Pinpoint. The roll was framed in terms of identifying the weapon, and you have no knowledge of a weapon that can do this. But with the advantages, at least, and the fact that you are a doctor, you do know what happened to them. And large areas in the body, depending on where they were, let's say, hit by the effect, The bones are broken in multiple pieces. Not compound fractures, but shattered within the limb. Ribs are broken.
No cuts.
Not really. Not from an internal source.
So whatever it was a very big blunt instrument, kind of.
Blunt or vibration or some kind of blast.
Okay.
Yes. Causing massive trauma.
Whereas I'll be sort of picking my way across, sort of like in a quiet voice, sort of cataloguing like the percentage of damage to the various droids. Could care less about the people who've died. I'll walk over them, step over the bodies, kick them out of the way, whatever.
Many species are represented in this path of disdain. Mostly smaller races. We don't see the big ones like Wookiees represented or Gamorreans or anything like that. But definitely people who have fallen on hard times are presented, and a large number of humans being among them. As you leave the camp behind you and head toward the temple, the natural terrain becomes less and less so. The volcano has clearly been dormant for a very, very long time. Its rock has been carved into very, very flat, very smooth, almost glass-like in areas like obsidian steps. Very, very thin, just inches high steps, slowly getting toward the inner bowl of the crater. The entire side of the cone is split from its very peak all the way down into the ground. And as you come up to that split, that chasm in the volcanic cone, you're looking at the deep, rich blues of this crystal spike which is coming up inside the volcano, which had been clearly carved and shaped with intelligence into a temple, hollowed out on the inside. And as you're getting this close to it, you can see how the light is being reflected and bouncing around inside it, and of course casting reflections all through the inside of the rocky dome. And there's streamers of plant life and vines and trees hanging down from the top of the cone as well. The front corner side of the temple has been cut into by heavy machines and crystal harvested directly from the wall, destroying whatever mosaics and inlays were there. The entire surface of the temple is covered with ideograms, hieroglyphics, etchings, what might be writing, pictograms of all sorts, and a vast section of this 20 meters by 10 meters has been carved, gouged right out of the crystal. There's no sign of corpses or destroyed droids next to the temple, but the heavy machinery that was doing this to the temple is here and shattered into pieces.
Just a few days ago, I was working in this temple, right? As a slave, I was like mining in this temple. Was I not?
The temple mining operation was set up just a few days ago. You arrived, and mining operation began.
Would you say that I would know the layout of this temple?
Not underground.
Okay. So, what are you looking for anyway, Gavin?
I'm an explorer. I try and seek out specific mineral deposits for profit, and rumor had it that this specific area was rich in this, and he points at the temple, in this blue crystal. Now, the individual who is mining this, rumor is he's a slave trader. And I'm trying to understand what it is exactly he's pulling from this specific temple. And maybe perhaps I could stop him from doing so if I find something that will convince him to do otherwise. There's always ways to kind of dissuade individuals from profiting from destroying such things of beauty. And at this specific point in time, I gotta make sure that I can find something that's gonna convince this guy to do otherwise. Rumor is he's flexible.
Do we have any knowledge of what these crystals are actually used for?
Well, you might. You might. A lore skill, background in science, significant rating in heavy weapons
Education.
could help you out. Just
Oh,
education.
heavy weapons I can do.
Yeah, I can also help out with that, heavy weapons.
Okay. Well, let's find out. Let's do a heavy weapons check. Ooh. All right. So the the difficulty will be
Oh, sorry.
difficulty will be 3, and you'll have 2 boost dice representing the existing knowledge and
Anything
assistance of the others.
Oh, okay. So 2 boost dice.
Yeah.
And that was difficulty 3, was it?
Yep. Wow. Okay. Looking at the crystal, there are no known weapons that use this element. However,
All right. Okay.
However, focusing energy through crystals is a common application.
Can I do a lore check as well for the same thing?
Oh, Gavin, you were going to say something?
I don't want to do a lore check. I want to use the scanner to analyze the crystal
Okay.
and see if it identifies the type of crystal that it is.
Okay. And yeah, go ahead with the lore check too.
Okay. I'm going to use my lore check. What's the difficulty?
Using the scanner will give you just 1 boost die. The difficulty is still hard.
I'll help them out.
You'll help them out? Okay, so it'll be another boost die. So I guess you guys flip through the scanner library mode.
And as I do,
doctor.
so I start talking. I like to role play before I roll the die. I start talking to the other Alderaanian and I say, "Look, we could quickly do this. If I use the analysis section of this interface, we should be able to decipher what type of crystal this is." And he rolls and oh, well, I had a force die on there in accident, but I get four successes and 2 advantage. I apologize. And then I use the force and move the temple.
Yes. Well, I guess 4 successes would be enough. It's not a common crystal, and it's on the restricted list. Your scanner doesn't have the normal restrictions that other scanners approved and sanctioned by the Empire have. So it's giving you comparisons. This particular exact composition, crystalline composition, had not to date been identified. But it's very similar to what could be referred to as a Kyber crystal, which, if you think back to your boyhood, was something prized by knights who used an elegant weapon in a more civilized age.
I look immediately at the Alderaanian and I hand the data pad to him. Isotopes are similar to Kyber crystals. You remember what that was used for?
Can't possibly be. Jedi.
Well, whoever.
Lightsaber.
Jedi, Sith, doesn't matter, but the fact remains is this crystal has the capacity to do just that. That's why it's being mined. He kind of like shrugs off a little bit, a little bit frustrated at the fact that he's been lured into this specific situation by his commissioner. And he says the whole temple is made from this. Puts his hand out to get the data pad back.
Gives it back.
Now, the datapad is telling you that it's not known types of crystal. Like, for example, it's not the Illum crystal, but it doesn't have anything to compare to. But you can be pretty certain.
Look,
that
the composite is not fully identified, but we have to continue on. I'm guessing that whoever created that temple had some type of intelligence or intelligent use for this crystal. I'm not sure if it's what we think it is, but to make a temple out of this rock, that's quite a feat. We gotta go see what's going on.
The crystals would seem to be designed to focus energy, although my memory banks have no reference to the crystal that you mentioned.
That's correct. At least from what we can decipher, based upon the scans, yeah, this is definitely focal crystal. We just don't know what type and what it does fully.
The datapad does give you one warning, indicating that it's, while stable, it has great capacity to magnify energy, even kinetic energy, and it may have concussive results were you to introduce energy in the wrong way to this compound.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with my knowledge of weaponry, can I speculate about what the effects of these crystals on blaster fire or anything similar may be?
Shooting it or using it as a focusing crystal?
No, I was thinking more if we come across any of the unpleasant animals that lurk around on this planet and we're forced to defend ourselves, if we're sort of shooting in the vicinity of these crystals, is it going to cause any sort of ricochet effect or anything along those lines?
It is more likely to shatter, causing a blast effect.
Okay.
Gavin looks at Zero, and he says, "What do you think about this?"
It's rock. I'm more interested in the tracks.
Hunter. I get it.
Do we see any tracks inside the temple? You said that there was damaged droids here.
Or that ravine kind of track.
That channel, which is likely the massive tail of the creature, definitely crossed by in front of the temple. Inside the temple, there are drag marks across the crystal floor, leaf litter and bits of sand and small component parts. Something may have retreated inside.
I suggest we don't use blasters inside the temple. The effects could be explosive.
Gavin heeds the advice of the droid, and he powers down his blaster to a low level stun.
I'm going to start sobering up a bit with the realization there might be a big animal in here with us.
A quick application of a stim pack unit.
Yes. Just like a splash of like cold water across the face. There's something in here that could eat us anyway. So I've been here before. I'll quickly describe the contents of this temple on the first floor.
Sure, I'll do that. Okay, so the inner area would be possibly 3 full stories high with a collapsed archway. It's probably time that brought that down because there's a lot of hanging vines around the fracture area. There are signs above that there were rooms, maybe rounded, kind of very, very tall, multi-story rooms going all the way up into the spire of the temple. At the back of this massive entry chamber, there are two noticeable features. One is a crack in the earth, possibly seismic in nature, where the underlying bedrock has pulled apart, and there is a staircase.
Okay, so I'm going to tell Gavin this, and I guess our hunter as well, Zero. Whatever we're looking for, it's probably going to be down that staircase.
Whoa, wait. I've found what I've looked for.
Oh, good.
I know what this crystal is. If you guys want to take the ship out of here, we're more than welcome to.
Well, I want to leave.
Is that all you were looking for? You just the rock, not the source, not.
Well, I can survey the temple. I can do that, and that would get me a little bit more information that I need. But I have to be quite honest with you. This place is not looking very safe right now. Now, we have a heavily armed droid that says that he can't use his armament. We've got a hunter that looks like...
Correct. I can't use my blaster rifle, I'll say, so I'm holding up the force pike that I'm wielding.
Well, hopefully that thing can do as much damage to whatever it is that's been destroying this place that I'm seeing. I'm not very smart. Now, I have a hunter here that looks like he's getting hungry for the hunt. And I got a fellow Alderanian alcoholic, God bless his soul, that really wants to get the heck out of here. Now, look, I don't want to cause any problems, but at the same time, I want to live. If, in any way, you guys can guarantee that we're going to be protected, I'll go through the temple with you. But I don't want to involve myself in anything that's going to compromise too much of my safety, you know what I mean? This is not looking good.
Zero.
I'm a bodyguard droid. It's in my programming to protect organics.
Zero kind of looks, well, looking at that staircase, it's way too small for that beast. Based on the size of the footprint, it was my chest. That's human size. So I think we're pretty safe from that.
All right, Gavin kind of thinks about it and he says,
All right, yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. All right, let's go.
you know, takes his scanner. It doesn't take much to
180
convince
degrees.
Gavin. Yeah, he's okay now.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll be safe now that you've said that.
Hold on. Be right back.
Yep.
All right, yeah, me as well. Please continue. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's take a brief beverage break while half of us have stepped away.
Right.
I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, did everybody leave?
All right. While everyone else is refreshing themselves, I'll do a quick recap of what has happened so far. Gavin Fell, Fringer, has been sent to a small island on a lush tropical moon orbiting a gas giant. The moon is called Verdan VIII. He is contractually and, let's say, morally obligated to seek out ways to both improve mining but also protect what was being mined for the sake of his fellow Alderanians who are scattered throughout the universe, and the ones locally being enslaved or provided with a less than equitable working opportunity, depending on who you ask, by a smuggler known as Captain 8. Gavin has encountered in the wilderness around this massive crystal temple, which is the target of the miners. He has found 3 individuals who are marooned here. One fellow Alderanian, a doctor, and recent convert to the religion of alcoholism, is a survivor of a brutal attack, possibly by a giant creature capable of emitting sonic waves that can shatter you like an egg. With the doctor is a Rhodian hunter and a droid bodyguard. These 2 have been marooned on Verdan VIII and would like to be able to leave that world with their lives. Now that everyone has returned from the beverage locker, let us resume play with the decision to go deeper into the temple.
All right. Well, I have to be honest. I would prefer to bring up the rear. So Gavin kind of steps back and lets the droid and the hunter go forward.
I suggest that I go first.
Good plan. What is the light like? Like, based on the crystal, is it basically just reflecting the light from the sun, I guess?
Yes, and as we get... Gavin's ship landed just after noon. So had he arrived a little earlier, this whole area would have been blinding with blue light as the sun shone right down into the cone. But the sun is settling down now. But the gas giant, which Verdan also circles, will be sending its own reflected light down. True darkness is a ways off. And yes, everything has a blue cast, and everything on the upper level of the temple is lit, sometimes with multiple reflections and refractions of the light. As you go toward the back of the temple, where it presses up against the cone of the volcano, it is darker. And looking down the crystal stairway, you're only getting reflected light or light that's traveling down through the fibers and structures of the crystal itself.
Right. So I guess as Iggy takes the lead, I'll go second, but I'll make sure I put my hunter goggles on as it gets a little bit more dim down below.
Okay.
Gavin says, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Somebody had to. Okay. It's cooler, of course, as you begin to go down the staircase. Whatever beings carved it had a stride perhaps less than what you are used to. It's not full human-sized stairs. They're quite shallow, but very broad. So you can actually take a step forward before stepping down again with each step. And it's a combination of a spiral staircase and a more traditional staircase. You head mostly straight with a slight curvature, and then a hairpin turn, and mostly straight with a hairpin turn, and so on. And it gets darker and darker as you go. But a shaft of blue light is coming down in this narrow gap between the different levels of the staircase.
Are there any I guess levels as it goes, or is it just continuous straight down?
You go down and around and down and around and down and come to your first opportunity to leave the staircase. And this is an archway in the crystal, which after about a meter blends almost seamlessly into the expected rock of the volcano itself.
As we're sort of heading down past this archway, I'll sort of glance through it to make sure there's no like immediate danger through the archway. Then I'll take up a position to one side of it, still on the stairway side. So basically, I'm covering the rest of the stairway if those guys want to look through the archway, so nothing can sort of rush up unexpectedly.
Okay. Other than
I'll give a sort of all clear sign through the archway.
Other than leaf litter and some grit, sandy grit, there doesn't appear to be anything large or menacing in the darkness at the end of that hallway. The stairway continues on down.
Wonder how long this is.
Are we going to investigate the chamber, or will we continue down the stairway?
I don't see any harm in investigating the chamber since we're relatively safe. You might learn something about the people who created this place here.
Inside the archway, the carvings, the etchings, the pictograms, whatever they are, they resume. They were absent in the stairwell, but like the upper body of the temple, all around you is carved or etched in some way.
Do you say there's
every available space?
So there's pictographs. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
What would be the difficulty on like maybe trying to decipher some of that?
That would be challenging. You'd be looking at a difficulty of 4, but this is definitely something you could work on over a long period of time.
Okay.
This would be lore or education.
Yeah, I've got both. I'll just take a quick glance at it and see. I'm pretty sobered up now. I'll take a quick glance at it and see what, if anything.
Right, if anything leaps out.
Oh, excellent.
Wow.
Nice. Okay. That one success will translate, not a big passage, but it will translate or give you an insight, kind of a Rosetta Stone moment into an idea. There's a repeated symbol, which it seems likely is referring to the builders of this. And this symbol is smaller than the other symbols. But what it is just a small triangle, similar, in kind of iconography to the temple itself. But this small little triangle, which represents the builders, is holding a beam of light in its hand.
All right. Gavin, Cyril, take a look at this pictograph right here. Doesn't that seem strange to you?
I walk up and Gavin uses the scanner to just to look at the pictograph. Well, it does look odd. It seems to be repetitive, some type of pattern. Takes the scanner, puts it up to the wall. Sees if anything comes about, if there's any recognized languages in the memory or the database of the scanner.
Okay. And take a picture.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I'll take a picture.
All right. Okay. So taking more time, this particular archway, there are two things working in opposition. There's the builder. I'm going to keep referring to as the builder icon, a small little triangle with the beam of light in its control. And then there is a reverse triangle, at least 3 times as large, which feels menacing as your eyes pass across the icons. There's us and them.
Is it a relief? Where's the large triangle again?
Yeah, it's relief, and you'll find them in counterpoint. Like, we're doing this, and then this happens, and we're doing this, and then this happens.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's all the way across the archway. It's difficult to tell where the beginning is. It's difficult to tell if it goes from side to side or up and down.
I don't know what this is, but whoever was here, there seems to have been some type of contention for either the construction of this temple or even just living here. There definitely seems to be some type of ideological conflict based upon these symbols and the way they've been arranged. Other than that, I really can't make out much. It's gibberish to me.
Might take years of work to figure it out.
I agree.
Is there anything else in the temple that's of note? And
In terms of symbols, you mean?
Oh, okay.
no, I mean like any physical structures or anything else of note in this chamber that we're in right now.
Past the crystal archway that you're in with its writing, it moves into stone. And it maintains that same shape with its gentle arch on top and heads off into darkness for another 10 or 15 meters. Beyond that, the room, well, it becomes a room. It widens out.
Is this absolute darkness?
Getting there. By the time you've gone just 2 meters in from the archway, it's really painfully dark. Only the light of Iggy's eyes and the glow from the datapad, maybe the reflecting surface of your hunter's binoculars, are introducing any light sources.
I'm really not feeling comfortable about going that direction. Too much dark is never good, and we don't have any good light sources that can at least ensure our protection. What do you guys think?
I have a built-in light source if that will be of any help.
I bet that'll be an amazing amount of help, actually. Can you please ensure that we? Are we going this direction? I'm not sure. Gavin just started. He's put it this way. His strain from the original role at the beginning of the game is starting to settle in, and that strain is starting to take place. And he's like, I don't know if I want to go in that direction. And look, we obviously are in a situation where we have to at least see where we're going. All of us.
I'll walk over and from the doorway past where Gavin's standing towards the sort of dark area that's under discussion, sort of pausing momentarily with almost a slight disapproving look if there was any sort of facial expression evident on the metallic face of the droid, which there isn't. And then move to where the darkness basically gets to its deepest, and the sort of glow from his eyes intensifies almost like torches shining out ahead of him. And then I'll start sort of panning my view over the darkened area, shining the the lights from my milk glow rods into the dark area.
Okay. Inside the darkened area, it's round, and in the very center of it is a round, almost dais of some kind, maybe 40 centimeters tall, maybe a foot high, maybe, and filling most of the room. You could walk around it comfortably, and this low, circular, raised area occupies the center of the room. The roof is domed, maintaining the same kind of angular construction as the archway. Inside, there really are no symbols, but in the very center of the roof is one perfectly cut, which you haven't seen any evidence of to date, one perfectly cut crystal.
I'll shine my sort of eye beams on that and point up at it.
It catches every instance of light and glows. And just for a second, when the angle is perfect, right, you can see that the light goes up into the roof, and a beam comes down onto the dais.
Wow. Gavin slowly approaches the droid, and for two reasons. One, because he's scared shitless, and two, he wants to get a closer look at the event that is occurring. He also looks towards the hunter and kind of sees, trying to see what he's doing, and the other Alderaanian. He wants to get kind of a bearing on who's where, because as far as Gavin's concerned, this may be something of interest.
Zero is basically, I'm going to be looking out, scanning the room, not necessarily on the dais, but basically shadows or anything that maybe moved once that beam kind of came down. See if anything's squirreling off into the shadows. I'm not so concerned on the dais.
Karn is probably going to be right there with Gavin, mouth agape, staring at just the whole room filling with light in that instant.
Cool. It is cool.
Yeah.
The technical prowess of whoever built this is, I don't even know how to say this, but it's well beyond what I've ever seen. This is amazing.
Is that same crystal?
I have no idea.
Can you take a scan of that?
Is it high? Is it accessible enough where I can scan it, or is it too high?
No, you can scan it. You might have to stand up on the dais.
All right, so I stand up on the dais and I do exactly what Karn suggests. I scan the crystal, and do I roll again, or?
No. Unless you'd like to learn a lot more, but we can ride with the original successes.
I will ride with the original success. I think that we'll just go.
Yeah, because it's equally possible that we could learn less. All right. It is the same crystal, but the raw crystal that you looked at outside had impurities in it, was weathered and cracked and whatnot. This is the real deal. This is as pure as it gets without impurities, and it magnifies energy in a very specific way. Again, you get the warning that the crystal is able to resonate with energy, and it may cause unpleasant side effects.
I look back at the droid, and I say, "You were right." And I look at the other guys and I say, "The compound of this crystal is perfection. This is exactly what the crystal does. We're seeing the focus work just on this limited amount of energy that that Iggy's projecting into it. It's lighting up the whole room. Just imagine if you focused the large magnitude of energy, what it would do.
The potential for weapon use is staggering.
Right.
Now Zero has moved in to look in the shadows that were being cast aside by the moments of light, and unless you miss your guess, your instincts are telling you that at this position you are directly under the spire.
Okay.
And on the far side of the dais, what was shrouded completely in darkness, there are eggshells of that big that have been cracked open. There's dried goo on the inside, and the remains of small animals that have been eaten and digested, if you follow my gist.
Right. Zero will head over to the nest and investigate further, essentially probably putting his hand right in, not really hearing anything that's actually in the nest, smelling it, looking at it, just trying to figure out if I could see what type of animal it is.
You've seen a lot of the digested animal. The skeletal structure, it's similar in function to what a lot of planets have. An amphibious creature tends to leap and feeds on small insects. This one, in its native state on this island, has 4 eyes, and it has a numbing sonic blast that's able to knock large insects about this big out of the sky. That's what was eaten. As for what was in the shell, it's hard to tell, but the footprints, although very, very tiny, are similar to what was outside, with a little tail track behind it. And the excrement, 2 or 3 days old.
Well, I'll turn to whoever's at the dais and say, well, there's definitely more of those beasts. And I think there might be a lot of them.
How many eggshells, Anthony?
It's a clutch. There are 8 to 10 eggs.
Gavin holds on tight to the droid.
Save me!
Gavin's like, he's got like his hand around
I just sort of look down.
Yeah.
Which way do the tracks go?
Around, in both directions from the nest.
Are there like crevices that they slither into, or like that something small would go into? Or
Although the volcanic rock is porous in many areas, these creatures at birth would have been too large to enter into them, and the integrity of the room hasn't been broken. There are no fractures or seams, so they must have gone out the door. But as the floor is stone with not much in the way of dust or anything on it, there's not much in the way of tracks or trails.
Right.
But based on the sort of size of the eggshells, guesstimating how big the eggs might have been when they were whole, if we can see a sort of large enough piece, would it have been possible for the sort of creatures when they were born to fit up or down the stairway that's outside?
Definitely. The eggs were roughly twice the size of a human head.
Okay.
The creature would have been coiled up inside it, and probably would be growing rapidly once outside with a food source.
Uh-oh.
But the tracks of the creature that you first encountered in the ruined campsite, there's no way it got down here to lay eggs.
Look, I'm not feeling good about this scenario at all. Let's take the crystal and go.
You want to take the large crystal, is that correct?
Well, I see it as the only viable sample of a perfect molecularly structured crystal. Everything else seems to have flaws in it. This does not. It has also been carved. Perhaps we can use it for something, or at least learn more from this isotope. I'm not sure. I'm at the point right now where I do not want to see what is in those eggs or what comes from it come in here and eat us.
These ones are rather small, but I think there might be more carved crystals further on, wouldn't there? Like, if this society carved these and put one up there, there might be more in a more accessible spot.
Gavin walks up, he walks away from Iggy, and he goes up to the egg, and he goes, "There's a lot of these."
Is this crystal even reachable? Can we like take it, as he says?
Taking it would require tools to free it from the stone in which it's in, but somebody put it there. You're going to be able to get it back out somehow.
Can I ask what tools we're planning on using to excavate that crystal, given the effect we know it has on energy?
Brains. I have no idea. We have to improvise, but we have to take some type of sample. If it's not this one, it'll be the next one. But as long as we are away from these eggs and whatever crawled out of them, I'm a little bit better. This room was dark to begin with. We should not have been in here. Hooray, we found the crystal, but at this point, let's go.
What would it take to pry it out of its fixture, whatever its fixture is?
It's stone. So a chisel and a hammer of some kind, or a mechanized tool that does the same thing would get the job done.
Could Iggy just hit, using his metal hand, just hit like above the crystal?
I guess that would be up to Iggy. Punching your way through stone. Is this how you want to spend your afternoon?
I would suggest that, given the effect the crystal has on energy, that I not hit it, as you say, since that would be supplying kinetic energy to the crystal. I may be able to dig around it and dig some of it out. If I don't touch the crystal directly, that might be safer for all involved.
I think hitting it would definitely be, not hitting it is definitely a good idea.
I think the droid is right. He's our best bet at this point.
Okay. Now, Gavin had moved around to the back of the chamber to get close to the eggs, and Zero is on that side of the chamber to get close to the eggs. And now Karn and Iggy are looking up at the ceiling. So light is casting shadows and revealing things and hiding things all around the room. And it's at this point in the conversation when... No, not when you're attacked. It's at this point in the conversation. He knows me too well. It's at this point in the conversation when Zero and Gavin see behind Karn and Iggy writing on the wall. And I don't mean the etchings. I mean somebody, some familiar species using BASIC was writing on that wall.
I'm within reach distance to Zero, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, I tap him on the shoulder and I go, what's that? What is that?
And I don't actually see where Gavin's actually pointing, because he's just kind of pointing furiously, and I kind of ask, I finally kind of pick up on it and ask Iggy to kind of shine his lights in that specific area so we can see the writing. So, but Iggy is digging.
Iggy's away.
Yeah.
Do we not have torches?
Well, actually, I can see with my hunting gun. I can see in darkness, so I could probably actually read it. So with that,
you can. It's not the best light for.
So I'll basically transpose it for Gavin if I can read the language, if it's basic.
Yeah, you can read it. It's like student notes. Like someone has been using a stylus, which they made. It's carbon on the wall. Like possibly they burned a stick and wrote on the wall in a black carbon powder that came off the stick, or something along those lines. It's graffiti, but graffiti with purpose or with order. And more than anything else, it's a translation of religious doctrine, which then stops, philosophical thoughts, which then stop, and then practical mechanical practical mechanical thoughts of channeling energy through the crystal. And this is written out in great detail, as well as drawings. There's a little drawing of what would be a crystal, and there's a long tubular object, and then there's an etching that says power supply and a question mark, and this sort of thing. Someone was working out how to build a lightsaber on the wall of this chamber.
So I'll basically inform Gavin of this, and actually Zero's like, it's mostly makes no sense to me because I have no mechanical whatsoever knowledge, but looks like they're trying to build something to harness this power. I don't know. I think we should maybe, if you want to, basically you're exploring this cavern and you need information, this would be a great source for someone.
Gavin approaches and he thanks Zero. Thank you. He walks forward and he addresses all of the information that he sees on this wall, and he drops his data pad and he says he's never going to free them. He can't. And he looks over at the other Alderaanian and he goes, you know what this is. I know what this is. They're trying to rebuild them. Whoever wants these crystals, whoever is buying these crystals is using them for an army.
An army equipped with lightsabers.
But that hasn't happened since. Where are they finding? Gavin just kind of drifts off, and his back, leans against one of the walls, and he just slides down and in a crouching position, just like at this point, I could only assume that he's collecting more strain, because he is just absolutely, he knows that he can't fulfill his obligation now. It's impossible. There's no way he's going to free them, and he's completely bent out of shape.
Okay.
He doesn't know what to do.
The human appears to be malfunctioning.
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The human appears to be malfunctioning.
The human appears to be malfunctioning. Yes, and to strain Andre for the terrible realization that you have.
Being a doctor, I'll try to cheer him up using stims.
Okay.
Medical check. I'm looking for advantages. Advantages will take away strain, right? On a med check?
Right. That's correct.
And what difficulty would you like?
He's not... Well, there's the hangover. We'll give it we'll make it hard.
Okay, again, Master Doctor. Reduce that to 2.
Yep.
Go.
Hey.
Well,
Whoa!
okay, so you have a triumph. I guess we'll use that to reduce strain.
We can.
On Gavin.
Okay.
Here, this will make you feel much better.
Just, you know.
Get up, buddy.
Gavin
the
he grabs Karn's hand and kind of shakes off just the misery and just kind of sighs.
All Duranians gotta stick together.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about this, though?
Well,
Are we gonna
I'll
take
be
the crystal?
I was going to say, I'll be looking around for a way for me to possibly sort of climb up to where the crystal is, since I'm assuming at the minute the plan's still for me to try and dig it out.
As I see the droid climb and I look at towards the hunter as well as towards Karn, I say, we have to take that crystal now more than ever, even if that's just the only one that is in that condition. We have to take it out of this temple, and we need to take it off this planet. We need to take it to someone who can help us. The bottom line is this, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll collect as much strain as I need to as a result of this revelation. H sent me here to survey this place. He promised me that if I doubled his profits by surveying this area and ensuring that his profits doubled, he would free all the Eldoranians here. Now knowing what this stone does, there's absolutely no way he's going to free these people. There's no way he's going to free the Eldoranians. There's no way he's going to do that. It's not within his best interests. There's a fortune lying in this temple. A fortune well beyond anybody's accessibility at this point. He may be one of the richest men in the galaxy by the time he's done here. Whoever's buying this is going to create genocide, and I don't want to be a part of that. I've already lost my planet. We've already lost our families. He looks at Karn. I can't do that again. I can't be a part of that. And that's it.
I know that there's still Alderaanians on this planet, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Many.
There's millions of Alderaanians still on this planet. We can't just leave.
Yeah, I agree. But there's no harm in finding the proper support that we need and coming back. There's folly in staying if we're going to die. Now, I'm assuming that Eight's going to expect me back soon, and he's either going to kill me and take the information that I got on this little data pad here and use it for his benefit, or just return the slaves here and continue to allow me to survey the planet until he's done using me. It's not the future I want.
While this disturbing conversation is going on, Iggy is, of course, up on the dais now looking at the ceiling, and there's more of this etching and this writing up there, similar in nature, and about the crystal. And there are some words that that are not, what do I want to say, not standard basic. They have been imported whole cloth with their spelling from a different language.
And we all see this?
Yep, if you like.
I look at the hunter because he has those special glasses on, and I say, what do you make of that?
I'll look at the language. Do I recognize the language?
We have members present who are educated, do we not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. After some discussion, you would have to say that what it reminds you of most is signs that you see represented from the planet Muriel. And if that's not ringing any bells, these are the hued people, blue or green, who like to run tattooed images down their chins and necks. Very athletic, very aggressive, enthusiastic people.
And force sensitive, some of them.
Yes, indeed.
So I'll look at the language and I'll transfer that to Gavin. It's some alien race, and I'll say the name of the race to see if it catches Gavin. I've never run into them. Have you, Gavin, ran into that race?
Muriali, no, I have not. But I can only assume that at some point in time they were using these crystals, and they have rumors of being very powerful beings, almost magical. But I'm not one to believe in that kind of stuff, and all I could say is that, I could see why they would want to use this location if that's what they were here for. Ultimately, these crystals they're just too powerful to pass up. Anything that focuses energies like that is just, it has to be something that these people would be interested in. We didn't see any signs of them coming in, did we? Besides that?
I saw no other ships.
Well, it could be way in the past. They could have been here a long time ago. Not sure.
He looks up at the droid, though. He wants to see what's up. Sorry.
Yeah, the scanner could probably tell you about the age of the writing, as it is carbon.
Okay.
Yeah, Iggy's up. It's firmly mounted in place, and it seems completely possible for light to pass from the top spire of the temple right down here. And from time to time, glitters of light do illuminate it. And but the sun is setting below the rim of the volcano.
I'll be looking at it from the point of view of if I switch off effectively the power running through my force spikes, which is just effectively a long metal pole. Would I be able to effectively prize it out? Because obviously I don't have it turned on because I don't want it to magnify the energy and blow me to smithereens. But
could you pry it out?
If I can, like say, power that down and sort of use a lever to effectively force it out. So I'm assuming it has to be attached somehow. Since you said the moorings were stone rather than more crystal, so I'm assuming someone's like plugged it in effectively.
Very much. Yeah, it's held in place in a shaped receptacle of stone, which is open on the other end, and it's just in a cylinder of stone. Getting a good enough grip on it and being able to damage that cylinder enough to free it without damaging the crystal is what's being asked. So finer tools may be less risky. It's just a question of time.
With my feet that are sort of like the sort of three clawed feet, I'm basically going to clamp them onto the roof, then sort of unfold the top of my body, so I'm effectively hanging down. So my arms are sort of dangling just above where the group are effectively, and then I'll look down. I'll say,
does anyone have any finer tools that I can use to pry this crystal free with?
Isn't there a scalpel in my med kit? Like
I hope so, for the sake of the wounded.
A doctor would have a scalpel. Will this do? And I hand it off to him.
Thank you, Doctor.
And I'll sort of fold the upper half of my body back up so I'm next to where the crystal is, and then I'll start looking around, seeing if I can basically use the much smaller scalpel, which I'm hoping is like a solid scalpel rather than a sort of energy-powered scalpel or anything ridiculous like that. And then I'll this electro scalpel, thank you. And I'll basically start looking around, seeing if I can sort of, with a much smaller sort of tool, if I can work it into any sort of small gaps or flaws and try and widen them with a view to making somewhere to actually put the pike in and then lever it out.
Okay, so the crystal's about this big,
Mm-hmm.
and It'll take some work, but this seems doable. Maybe with the blunt end of the scalpel, rather than the bladed end in places, but you're making progress. Little chips of stone coming down. You don't have to go all the way around, of course. You just need enough wiggle room to get it out.
Yeah. As I'm sort of looking down, I'll say,
I advise you to be ready to catch this crystal in case I am successful in detaching it. Hitting the floor might not be such a good idea.
I look at Karn and I say, "That's a nice cape. We may want to use it to catch the rock."
All right, I'll take the cape off and
Okay.
give one end to Gavin, and we'll stand under there, ready for the crystal to fall down.
So I would imagine this would take a little bit of the time. So while they're doing this, I'll just kind of watch the perimeter. There is only the one entranceway into this room.
Only the one entranceway into this room, yeah. And there are other archways on lower levels as you go down.
I'll keep an eye on where we came in just to make sure we're not surprised.
Okay. Zero, could I have a perception check?
Sure.
Here it comes.
Yep.
So, alright. Where's my perception? What's the difficulty?
The difficulty of the perception check is 2. You have the goggles,
Right.
so that works in your favor.
Yeah, that gives me a boost die, and it removes 2 setback in darkness. So.
Right. So there'll be no setback as a result.
All right.
Wow.
Ooh.
You are completely unsurprised.
Excellent.
Okay. 2 things you note. Now, from behind you, you can hear them chipping away at the ceiling and preparing to catch the crystal. And you are still in darkness in the archway, the crystal archway out by the stairwell. And the first thing that you hear just before you see it is the drag thump of something coming down the stairs. Something which has killed something and is bringing it with it to its lair. But farther, far away, outside, perhaps outside the shattered cone of the volcano, you hear the echoes of a monstrous scream and the detonation of something which rattles down the side of the volcano.
I guess everyone hears the noise. Was the noise fairly substantial, or is it more?
Where you are, it's more you're hearing the echoes of the sound, and it's brought to you by the stairwell.
Okay. And how far away is that? It's down at the other end of the corridor where we came down?
It's almost 20 meters away.
Okay. I'll quickly turn back, and I'm trying to think of some sound that a Rhodian would make. I don't know if Rhodians whistle, but I'll make some kind of clicking noise to try and get Gavin's attention. I can't snap my fingers because I have suction cups on my fingers. I don't think
that would grab my attention immediately.
And in doing that, I will, in my incidental, use the quick draw to unsling my rifle and then basically cock it, hoping that he actually also hears that as well.
Okay.
And
do I notice GM?
He's actively trying to get your attention, unless you are walled away in your in your prison of sadness, I think you're going to notice.
All right, I immediately look at him. I notice that he's taken arms, and I go, whoa, and I look up at the crystal that's about to drop, possibly, and I look at him, and I go, oh, come on, and I just, I say, could you hurry up, Iggy? Come on, let's go. And something's coming, Iggy.
Iggy, sealed as you are to the ceiling. Sealed as you are to the ceiling, you can feel slight tremors as you're hanging there.
I will attempt to speed things up a bit if at all possible, but obviously I don't want us. I'm erring slightly still on the side of caution since I don't entirely know what this non-imperially sanctioned crystal may do.
Your finishing touches on freeing the crystal will be whichever is better for you between a straight agility roll or coordination roll. And I would even be open to the idea of athletics because you're hanging upside down at the time. But the idea is it's an athletics endeavor. Okay.
So we'll do difficulty about
the difficulty. Improvised tools. Rather than raising the difficulty, I'm going to apply setback because of the tools. So it's a simple task that takes a long time. We're trying to speed it up. And so we'll apply a difficulty of 2, setback of 2, and that will be good. And I haven't used one of these, so I'm now going to spend a dark side point to raise the difficulty to 1 and 1.
Okay. Can I likewise spend a light side point to upgrade one of my green dice to a yellow dice?
You can indeed.
Okay. Right, here goes nothing then, boys.
Let's go, Iggy.
Oh.
With
advantage. With advantage.
That's right. Okay. Trying to do it faster. Has caused a fissure to spread across the ceiling in this mounting of the crystal and causing the concern that if you are to continue, quite a bit of rock and the crystal itself will fall. Enough rock that they might not be able to catch it in the cloak. Yeah. Oh, you're definitely able to free the crystal with more time. But it's going to bring part of the roof down.
What I'll see if I can do, I don't know how feasible this is I'm going to put the pike in the crack ready to lever it out as I was planning originally. Then what I'll try and do is I'll try and effectively sort of stretch myself over the bit where I think most of the rock's going to fall, looking at where this fissure is, with the hope that I can almost sort of like using myself sort of hold it up to the ceiling at least briefly, giving them time to sort of step aside, and then I can unfurl myself and let the rock fall down. Hopefully not on them.
Okay. Okay. Coordination. Do you have this coordination?
The coordination. No, I do not have it as a skill.
Okay. So that defaults us to your agility then, which is fine.
Oh, so still 3 dice.
Okay. All right.
Okay. What difficulty would you like me to be on?
Are you going to ask people to leave, or?
Are we noticing the crack in the ceiling?
Sure, and
get out of the way.
Flakes of stone.
I suggest as soon as you've caught the crystal, you step aside rapidly.
Gavin has too much strain to listen to that. He's just going, come on, get it out!
Roger, understood.
Now this is a dangerous activity, with the exception of Zero, who might feel like he's far from the blast radius. I'm going to apply 2 strain to everyone.
Dude, I'm gonna be out of my mind by the end of this session.
The difficulty is 3, Iggy.
Mhm.
And there are 2 setbacks.
Okay. I want to ask whether I can take one advantage, since obviously with the weight of the rocks bearing down on me, normally that would be more of a problem for a sort of biological organism because of the weight and the pain of trying to hold these rocks up. However, since I don't actually feel pain, and I'm largely made of metal, which is obviously tougher than that poor, weak and fragile flesh that the rest of them are wandering around in.
Absolutely. You can take your advantage as a boost die.
Okay, splendid. I'm going to spend another light side point to raise 1 too.
Okay.
Yellow, and it's difficulty 3, you said. How many
That's
setback
right.
dice do I have?
2.
0, okay.
So
Good
we've
luck,
got
yeah.
Iggy reorienting himself. He has his force pike braced in the crevice he has created. We've got Gavin and Karn with the cloak held as a means to catch the crystal should it fall free. We've got this large piece of heavy volcanic rock which could drop at any moment. And let's see what happens. Ah, you roll. We have a success with 2 threats.
Well, I think the good news is the crystal's out. The bad news.
Okay. The 2 threats. While you do not feel pain, you are being pummeled by discharging rock, and with the nicking of the force pike, just forcefully impacts against the side of the crystal just for a second, and it vibrates through you and applies 2 strain as you are disoriented. Now it's obvious to those in the room, not to Zero, that there has been a discharge of energy which Iggy has been the brunt of, and so not like a laser blast or anything, but a discharge of energy, which applies the condition disoriented, which may likely dissipate before it matters, but would apply setback to any rolls that you take.
Is he just hanging there?
That's up to you.
What is his condition? I just want to make sure if
The
Gavin
rock is
I
rained
like to
down.
imagine that as I've been hit by the sort of rock, like you said, I'll have unfolded, and I'm sort of shuddering a little bit, probably with a few sparks sort of flying out of the bits that have been hit by the energy discharge, and like I say, emitting this strange sort of whirring noise as my capacitors are trying to sort of disperse the energy relatively safely.
That's the bravest damn droid I've ever seen in my life.
He looks back towards the hunter. Gavin's holding the cape, and all of the debris, I'm assuming, is dropping into the cape, and he's like trying to shake it off. And he's looking back at. Did the crystal drop?
Yep.
Oh, it did drop. Okay. Gavin immediately looks at Karn and says, "All right, let's go." But wait. And then he looks up at the droid and he goes, "We got to get him down somehow. This is getting worse by the moment."
Can he not just drop?
His gravity, as always, works.
Get down here, Iggy.
Indeed.
We gotta go.
I will detach myself and sort of drop to the floor, landing on all fours, and then slightly straighten up, like I say, probably a few sparks still sort of like issuing out from underneath my carapace.
And Gavin looks at the hunter. "What is happening?"
And I Turbot, how close is this in that everything that just happened? How close did this monster start coming towards us, or
The one on the stairs or the one outside?
the one on the stairs? Not really concerned about the one outside right now.
The one on the stairs has reached the landing above this one. So you still can't see it, but you can hear it.
All right.
Thump.
Before
Thump.
Before combat begins, I'm gonna stim Zero up, and I'm gonna try to improve his characteristic. I'm assuming he's gonna want agility, right?
Yes, I would like that.
Okay, so here we go. It is 2 medicine check, and it works.
All right.
What is
You,
that
you
effect?
receive 1 strain, and your agility goes up by 1
For how long?
for the encounter.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool. Thank you.
So, Karn, tell us how this all plays out.
So I rush up to Zero. I hear something dragging. I'm assuming there's going to be a firefight, so I pull up one of my stim packs and just stab him with it in the back. You're welcome.
I obviously turn around and kind of question, and I obviously feel, I guess, much more limber now. And,
Alert.
And I just kind of go shh as I'm looking, still listening and trying to figure out exact position. And I'm going to try and stealthily move forward now that I know that people are actually behind me.
Okay.
And try and get in a position where, I guess if it's a long hallway, where I could be on an angle so I'm at a point where I could hit him as he comes down the stairs.
Yeah, that'll be any moment now. As it's sliding, dragging, sliding, and dragging.
So
Any last words? I mean,
From all of us?
For all of us?
so we've got Zero in the archway
Yes.
where you first translated some of the symbols,
Mhm.
and the rest of you strung out along that hallway. We've got Karn immediately behind him. He's administered a stimulant. Anything else taking place? We've got Iggy adjusting himself from his shock.
And this room is all stone except for the crystal that we just took down, correct?
Correct.
Gavin sets his heavy blaster to kill.
but this stairwell is crystal, correct?
The stairwell's crystal, and the archway that Zero's in is crystal.
So
We should step back a bit.
I'll tell them. I'll point to them. You step back. Wait to use your energy weapons. Trust me. Queequeg and me.
I'll be stepping up, albeit in a slightly sort of jerky and uncoordinated fashion, holding my force spike, which I'll turn on.
I'll wait for Karn to take his action.
Well, I think it's a good idea to step back. So I'm gonna head back to where we were before
Okay.
and ready myself.
And I wrap the crystal in the cape, and I put the cape inside the pack, I guess, that I was bringing with me for the survey, so that the crystal protected. I whisper to Karn, "You're gonna get the back. You're gonna get this back. I just needed to protect the crystal."
Don't worry about it. You can keep it.
Now, just in case combat should ensue, could I have a simple roll from everyone based on their cool?
Oh, cool. What are you? Oh, yes. No difficulty, just a regular roll.
That's right. Simple roll.
Okay. Wait, what? No, that's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right, honestly.
There you go. That's better.
Okay.
All right. So I'm guessing the guy with the triumph is probably going to go first.
That would be me.
All right. So Karn winds up with 3 advantages.
Yep.
And 0, 2 successes, and a triumph. And Iggy, 3 successes and an advantage. And Gavin with
No, I was
1
going to say,
success.
ignore that one. I
see.
I rolled it again. I left a bonus dice in on that. I've just got 1 success.
Gotcha. So 1 success. Okay. So just in case you face opposition in your combat, I will do my simple roll, and I wind up with 2 successes and 2 advantages. Okay. Meaning we have 3 of you, then it, then 1 of you. In any order you like.
I will surrender to the last slot, and the guys can discuss how they're going to take the first 3. Because Gavin's a dope when it comes to fighting.
All right, so here's what happens. You're hearing with increasing loudness the slide, thump, and then it resolves into a scrabbling sound like hard claws on stone with the sliding part, and then silence with the thump. And every once in a while, a long hiss like an exhalation of air. Tension builds in the room as you should be able to see it out there, silhouetted at the end of the tunnel, but it doesn't appear, and it doesn't appear, and it doesn't appear. And then suddenly, there's the shadow of something in the doorway.
I need a drink.
It's well over knee high, mid thigh, maybe higher, and long.
Excellent.
So, Dave.
I'm going to
shoot.
Damn it,
shoot!
I'm just going to silently just take a breath in with my nice air rifle and shoot.
Okay. As you're lining up the shot, you see that in its massive jaws, it's dragging one of the poor, unfortunate, shattered bodies of a human miner.
All right.
Oh, Gavin doesn't like that.
Okay. This is medium range. You'll gain a bonus because it's a long, narrow tunnel in which the thing is silhouetted.
Okay. And medium range is?
Hard. 3.
All right.
Now you get a bonus because of your sights also.
Actually, I don't. The sights only are useful at
long and extreme.
Yeah. Long and extreme, so I don't. And there's no concealment or anything, so I will go.
Not for your evil ambush.
All right. So.
Wow.
Only 6 successes? You remembered the bonus from your neighborhood drug dealer?
Critical hit table time.
So 6 success. So that's 6, 11 damage. That's 11 stun damage and 4 pierce.
Right.
Okay, ignore 4 strain.
That's right. Ignore 4 soak. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, 4 soak. But the damage is all stun damage.
Okay. Doing the math in my head. Okay, well, that elicits the dropping of its meal, and its head turns to look down the hallway in the direction of what just hit it. And its eyes are glowing dimly with a very dim, fiery orange light, and you see its teeth glittering in the blue reflected light coming down the stairwell. But it's also staggering a little bit, and it shakes its head at that point and lowers its body, and it hisses. And with the exhalation, it's taking another lungful of air. It's time for someone else.
So I'm just going to say, with my maneuver, I'm going to then kind of fold over into the archway. So shot and kind of fold over into cover.
Take cover. Right. I hide behind Gavin.
Good luck with that.
I figure Gavin's actually closer to the dais.
Yeah.
I guess Iggy should go next, since he's our other frontliner.
Okay. I will sort of unsling, having been like while Zero was sort of taking his shot, unslinging my heavy blast, well, my blaster rifle, not heavy blaster rifle, since I need a tripod for that.
Yeah.
And I will point it down the corridor. Since this thing's sort of like slowed down and it's crouching down, I'll take a moment to aim at it, trying to aim for the sort of spot where it's already been massively injured, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll squeeze the trigger and fire off a shot down the corridor.
One maneuver for aim gives you a boost die.
Mm-hmm.
It's medium range, making it difficulty 3.
Okay.
And this is on its normal setting.
Yeah, he rolled a miss and 2 advantage.
Okay. But no despair.
So nothing blows up?
Nothing blows up! No threats either, which also enable me to do fun things like disorient or blast.
Okay, since I was going to say, since I've rolled 2 advantages, and let's see, I'd like to add a disadvantage dice to the target's next check as I'm sort of firing these blasts off, forcing it to take cover and move a bit more cautiously.
Awesome. So the blast hits in front of it. It scampers back, still intaking air, and it will have setback applied as a result of your advantages. One more of you can go before it does, if you can or if you like.
That would be Karn's turn, because I sacrificed the last initiative slot.
Okay. If I fire wildly into this area, I could hit something that blows up, yes?
Quite easily.
So I'm going to stim myself first to give myself a better chance to hit. And I do stim myself. I'll take that
That's an active talent, right?
Yes, I have to do it.
That's an action.
Yeah, I know. That's an action. I'm going to increase my agility. And that's an action, so I'm going to move a little bit closer.
Okay. All right. So that, I guess, leaves us with Zero on one side of the archway, undercover. Karn on the other side of the archway, undercover. Iggy at the dais. And Gavin is where in the room?
I just caught the crystal and bagged it, so I'm also at the dais.
At the dais, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been drawing air in. It lost some of its concentration as the energy blast from Iggy hit in front of it, and stone chips and whatnot. And then it fills out its throat, and you can see these long rippled gashes in the throat as it all unfolds, this muscular, tight, leathery section underneath its chin, and then it tightly compresses. It opens its mouth and it screams.
Oh shit!
Given that we know it's got this capability,
yes.
And I'm presuming what we've seen is the damage actually sort of like sound based, like is it sort of overloading your ears and causing your brain to melt, or is it actually like
it's
in which
an
case
area effect attack? Yeah. Go on.
Okay, if it's sound based, is it possible for me to turn off my hearing?
That would protect your ears. But it's a sonic weapon. It does damage by vibration.
Cool, no problems.
So definitely, if you can turn off your ears, I would recommend it. Okay. Now this is a juvenile. Obviously, it's unskilled in the ways. It's lashing out. It's not capable of destroying spaceships and whatnot. This is probably survivable.
I like it how you put that. Probably survivable.
Now, as it's basically firing its weapon down a long tubular tunnel, I'm going to give it boost dice. Its difficulty is the same as yours. 3, it's at range. And here we go. 2 successes and 1 advantage.
Is there also a setback from Iggy's roll?
Yeah.
I forgot the setback from Iggy's roll. I'll add that now.
Nil.
Nil, nothing.
Nil. So, lucky you.
Yeah, Iggy.
Which means that no one is damaged by the blast. The blast goes up into the ceiling. You hear it building. The organics. You feel your eyes squishing. Your vision ripples. Your ears are hurting. Your hair moves. Your clothes move. No one takes actual damage.
Excellent.
Now we're down to Gavin.
Gavin,
You feel the crystal warm in your hand as you're sucking it in the pack.
Gavin takes out his blaster. What range is he at?
Medium.
He takes. Hey, wait 1 second. Okay, his incidental is he's gonna speak and go, "Hey, shut up!" And then he his maneuver is he is going to aim, and then his action is a combat check, and he is going to fire his heavy blaster, and he is going to spend a destiny point to see if he can kill this fucking thing, and he is going to roll against what difficulty?
We have no destiny left for you. It's all for me. I'm going to have to be quite brutal when I attack you if the creature survives your attack.
It's going to die.
Okay. Make it happen.
All right, what's the difficulty?
The difficulty at medium range is 3.
All right, here we go. 2 hits with a threat.
With a threat. I'm going to apply strain with the threat.
All right. Jesus. Gavin is
quite emotionally invested in not dying.
Yeah, he is totally yelling at this thing that's yelling at him. Gavin is absolutely fucking bonkers right now. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Good.
Cycling through brings us back to 0.
All right. So I will also shoot. Not do a whole lot of anything.
Oh shit.
Well, don't worry. He's been hit twice and startled.
So I'm gonna.
You can still spend your advantages.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass 2 off to Iggy, and then 1 to add a setback to its next maneuver. That's
nice. So I guess 0 pops around the corner. Back under cover.
And back under cover. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to take a moment to aim again, and with the sort of warning sort of target shot that Zero's fired to point out to me where the potentially weaker spots of this creature are, I'm going to sort of aim my blaster rifle at that area and then squeeze off a shot at it.
Okay. So that's 3 boost dice total.
Ooh.
So you're short a boost die there, but that's still pretty awesome. If
That'll
you
be
just
12
separate out,
damage.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
If you could just separate out 1 solitary boost die.
Okay.
Excellent.
Nice.
Good.
Okay, so you got 2 advantages in addition. So we've got your 9, 10, 11. Okay. Good solid hit.
Okay.
It had already been stunned near to extinction. Gavin hit it with a heavy blaster. The creature's standing, opens its mouth, and collapses, its tongue extending out of between its teeth. You're not sure if it's dead, but it's definitely out for the count. It starts to twitch as it's lying.
Gavin goes,
Okay.
It's time to get out of here, guys.
Yeah. So
I'm going to use those 2 triumphs that I rolled to say that my sort of self-repair systems are slowly starting to come online and sort of dissipate some of that damage just to recover a couple of strain.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go up to the creature. How large?
It's, like I said, mid-thigh on 0.
And how long?
At its highest point, its head would be roughly from the base of his neck to down to his lower abdomen, and all 3.5 man lengths. It's got a very fresh, glistening reptilian coat on it, like it just finished molting. Big gaps where teeth have been removed from all this cruel villainy of shooting it in the head has taken place.
So I can't possibly carry it, can I?
By yourself, maybe not.
So, Iggy, we take this with us.
Is it alive?
I was going to say, I'll have sort of walked across behind with my force pike, and if it's got like a hole in it somewhere where we've been shooting at it, I'll basically just ram the force pike into it and to make sure it's dead.
That is merciful, as it was quite busily dying. And 0, you would recognize that this is very much a juvenile creature, freshly hatched.
So it's probably not something I want to keep.
It's pretty impressive. If someone didn't know what they were looking at, it'd be like, wow, you killed that? If someone did know what they were looking at, it's like, so you cracked an egg?
Perhaps if you just take a trophy from it rather than the whole body.
Yeah, trophy would be good. Probably tooth.
The teeth would be valuable. The claws would be valuable.
All right.
The skin.
I'll take a tooth. And then we can carry on our merry way.
It's like this big.
Why not take the head, then you have a whole number of teeth.
How big is the head?
The length of your torso, and almost as wide.
Ooh.
How long would it take you to remove the head, Iggy?
It depends entirely how carefully you want it doing.
I'm fucking drinking water. I'm gonna die here.
Best line of the day.
All right, let's take the head.
What is it with Star Wars?
Okay, take out my basic sort of Bowie knife sort of style cutting equipment that I've been using to sort of work through the foliage and just start like.
Yep. You could have a second career as a butcher, I'm sure.
There you go. And I'll try and fit it into my backpack.
Bungee cords it is.
Yes.
All right. So,
And I think
something
Gavin is
bigger
right.
than this is outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's time to get out of here.
I suggest we make our way to Mr. Fell's ship.
That's a great idea. And I just start walking out because I'm absolutely batshit crazy right now. I just start walking towards the door with no safety in mind.
I'll follow directly behind him. Since
That's
I also want to get out of here.
Can I ask Dave if he knows anything about this animal? Like, have you been tracking this animal, right? Zero?
Not this one, no.
No?
I'm tracking anything, really. I don't think I have any other knowledge that we haven't already kind of discussed.
Because a bigger version of this animal is outside the temple. It's probably its mother or something. And if it can smell the trophy head that you're carrying...
It's not I know it can't be its mother, because if it's coming back to this nest, its mother can't possibly have gotten into here to lay those eggs. So, its mother
The
and...
longer we stand around discussing it, the more likelihood is it's going to approach.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go. Screw it, I want to get out of here too.
I'll drop the head.
All right. Gavin just is walking. He has he doesn't even know how to rationalize what's going through his mind. All he knows is that at this specific point, he has to get back to Captain 8. He just got to get back to him. So he's just booking, and he's trying to, like, I don't know if he's running per se, but he's walking top speed. He's looking back. He hears the gears of the droid behind him walking back, and he's like, we got to go. We got to go now.
Okay. So
Just not following.
You leave the room. You pass by the decapitated corpse of the juvenile creature, which, if Zero is to believed, might be a week old and is, this size. See the cruel injuries from the Rhodian dart weapon, the impact from your own heavy blaster, Gavin, the impact from your own blaster, Iggy. The effects of the stim tabs are starting to wear off that Karn was kind enough to inject you with, and you're starting to come down from that. And you're making your way up the low stairs. You see the blood trail left all the way down the stairs as this creature dragged one of the dead Alderaanian miners all the way down here to consume. The sun has dropped down below the level of the top of the volcanic cone, so as you get up into the upper levels, the light level is quite low, but everything is surrounded in this blue aura as you reach the main level of the temple. But as you know from Zero's observation, something big is out there in the jungle. If the track is to be believed, it might even be big enough to be a threat to the foggy horizon.
If I'm assuming that deduction takes place in Gavin's mind, he picks up the comm and he goes, "Foggy, I'm coming, baby!" And he just puts the communicator back inside his pocket.
He must have a co-pilot.
Yeah. And he's starting to rush. I mean, at this point in time, if the fatigue would set in, he's a fat dude, so he's not going to be running anywhere. But he's definitely probably at least slowing down. They've been pushing along, and nothing has happened. So he's excited to get back to the foggy horizon, but he is probably not feeling too well on top of all the strain.
as Gavin starts slowing down, as I'm sort of moving past him, since I don't really tire out, I'm literally just going to pick him up and carry on moving at the same speed. just literally bend down, like throw him over my shoulder and carry on moving, and then say, point in which direction.
That way! He takes his comm link out of his pocket and he's bouncing on the back of the droid's shoulder. We're coming! We're coming, Bobby! We're coming!
All right.
Oh man.
So
For those of you not looking at a droid's butt, we have a perception check. You're in a sunset jungle environment. The difficulty is still average, but I'm adding setback for darkness. I'm adding 1 setback for darkness. I'm going to be kind to you by spending a destiny pool to raise the difficulty to 1 and 1 with 1 setback. This is a perception check. Vigilance, if it's better, would be all right.
Would cool also work?
Yes, cool would be fine. Yes, for the doctor. Yep.
Do I gain any bonus for having the built-in macro binoculars?
Yes.
Okay.
You can add a boost die.
So the drunk doctor sees something.
The drunk doctor is definitely alert. The mechanical wonder got our second blank of the day. That's interesting.
Well, I'm obviously too concerned with bending down and picking up Captain Fell to actually notice anything else.
All right. And 0. There's 2 advantages. Okay. Anything you want to do with those advantages?
Maybe just I'll boost our next check, whatever it may be, if that's possible.
Okay. I'll apply 1 strain to the doctor.
Because whatever I'm seeing is shocking, probably. What the hell is that?
You have a talent that can resist the strain, though, don't you?
Yes, I do.
All right, so it's still shocking, but you're over it. Okay, fresh tracks is the first thing that the doctor notices because of the blood trail dripping from high up, and what the doctor sees actually are bodies placed high up in one of the trees, possibly for drying out or storage. If it's a 4-legged creature like what you just faced underground, if it bent down, picked up the bodies, and placed them in the tree, then its head is at least 30 feet off the ground.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so I'll point up and say, what the hell is that?
What? What do you see? What?
And I'll point.
And everyone sees.
I think we need to leave. That's a little bit too big.
And creepy.
I agree 100%.
That's if it did it with all 4 legs on the ground, but still.
Are there tracks near the tree?
There are, deeply sunk into the earth.
Which direction would those tracks be going?
They're heading down to the beach.
Ah.
Is that
following the trail of bodies?
Gavin's pointing.
Oh no! So the droid put me down, right?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, all right. Gavin, his fat ass just starts bolting. He's like, "Fucking no!" And he's just leaves are slapping him in the face. She doesn't even care. He's just trying to get to the ship.
Now it's hot and it's humid. So if you're not Iggy, we'll need an endurance check.
To be honest, I'm planning on picking him up again very shortly.
Gavin, wait, no! This is just straight up endurance, isn't it?
Yeah, or, brawn if you don't have it. So.
Yeah, brawn would be that.
What difficulty?
Difficulty is just 2.
All right. None of this and
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes! Baggy!
Can I roll my survival check?
Sure.
What is the difficulty, sorry? 2. Oh.
2. Because you have your custom-made hunter hat on and your fatigues, and you're all good to go. Look at that.
Whoa.
The big game hunter is cool.
The lizard, basically, hot is okay.
The alcoholic doctor, however,
Running out of steam.
Is running out of steam. You've taken 2 strain.
So I see. Do I see him slowing down? No, I'm actually past him.
You're way past me.
Yeah, you're the head of the line.
Okay, all right. I just
since I'm no longer holding on to him, Gavin, I noticed the doctor falling behind. I'll pick him up instead.
Okay.
It's not your fault. You're all woefully inefficient.
All right. So you pass through the actual campsite. You pass through the wreckage of the campsite. You start going down through the heavy foliage as the trees thin out. You see the trail, bent trees knocked left and right. You see the deep dug trench of the creature's tail as it follows its deeply implanted claws in the earth. And as you come up the next crest, you see it down below, and it's heading toward the water. On the other side of a rocky and sandy, grass-covered rise is the foggy horizon. Maybe from its perspective, it can't see it. Maybe it can see the radar dish. Maybe it can smell it. Who knows? But this creature is immense. All down its back, something that wasn't evident on the juvenile version, are these bony spikes. And its head is even larger, and its throat array that it uses to direct all the sound with the powerful vibration is proud and erect.
Gavin goes, Leviathanic whales. They hatch on land. Ah. And he just keeps on, he's just running his ass off. His Leviathanic whales. They hatch on land.
And you're way up above it, and it's heading across the beach down below you.
So just to get this in place, is Gavin effectively sort of like bombing straight towards it, or?
If he continues in a straight line, yes, he will catch up to it.
What sort of range would we have?
He could go along the headland, but it'd be a farther route, but far safer. That's up to him.
Not with 4 strain, he's not.
I was going to say, even my sort of droid brain can work out that he's probably not going to take the logical course of action here.
Right.
So you are at
what sort of range are we at the minute? Sorry.
Long range.
Okay. Drop the doctor down and sort of pull out my blaster rifle. Start aiming at it.
Okay. Time for a little barrage, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
It is going to happen. Go ahead.
If nothing else, I'm hoping that me firing at it from the rise might distract it from the screaming human running towards it.
Okay.
If I see Iggy taking out his gun, I'll probably sit down and go, "Are you taking a shot?"
I'll
I'll say. The only other option seems to be to let it kill the human down there and then make it aboard his ship while he dies.
Well, I can't let you be the only one shooting at it, so I'm going to unsling my rifle and take a shot as well.
Karn's gonna see what they're doing and say, "Oh, hell this."
Two rifles. One.
Okay.
Well, that's...
Yeah. Cool.
The creature has no idea that you're there. This is an attack from ambush. That will change suddenly once you shoot it. If you shoot it. So, please feel free to take a shot from ambush, and you may have 2 boost dice to accompany this. You're at long range.
Long range? Excellent.
It's the 2 boost dice because of the ambush.
Because of the ambush, yes.
All right, cool. I'll add another one for aiming then. And its difficulty.
We are at long range, so we're now at 4.
Right.
And I believe you have a talent called Barrage.
I do indeed. However, that basically just adds damage if it's successful, so it won't affect the actual roll.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, so 2 advantages. I'm going to use that to add an extra disadvantage to its next roll. I'm hoping with the idea of distracting it so it maybe notices us more than it notices the tiny person who's screaming and running down the beach.
Okay.
So, it's at long range, so I can reduce the difficulty to medium with my scope. I'll take a shot. And I don't know if I'll do much.
That's a crit.
I don't have crit with this because it's all stun damage.
Oh.
I meant to. So that's 6, 9. So that's 9 plus 4 pierce. And
Right.
I will do the same thing. I'll make those disadvantages on its next roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the blaster rifle fires, and it's difficult to see at the range. Maybe it impacts against the spiny bone protrusions on its back, but the creature is still advancing forward. Gavin is bounding down the hill, getting closer all the time, and Zero, a flat crack comes from his projectile weapon. The dart zings out and hits, and the energy discharge is visible even at this range, and the creature takes notice. And being shot in the back, it curls around, and due to your 3 advantages and applying them as setback to the creature, it curls around to its left, so looking out oceanward for the source of the threat before coming around to look back up the mainland, not looking in the direction that Gavin is going down the hill. It has massive nostrils, but it's still got this long tongue that's shooting out to some purpose. The teeth are larger than a man.
How far am I from the ship?
It's a good long run, sir.
I will continue.
Okay.
So it's turned. Has it spotted me and Iggy?
It hasn't seen anybody yet.
All
It's
right.
turning around, looking for the cause of damage.
I will basically stealth into some bushes as my hunter instincts are to kind of basically see if it doesn't see me.
Okay, taking cover.
Yeah, taking cover kind of stealthily if I can.
Karn.
Yeah, probably taking cover as well. Hopefully, Zero can help me with that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So, there's plenty of cover, particularly as you are so small in comparison to it. We're talking about economies of scale. And Gavin, you were rushing through the undergrowth. You're now reaching the grasslands. You're in medium range to the side of the creature. You're still a good long run from going up over the headland and down to Foggy on the other side. The creature has stopped its forward motion. It's turned away from you. Its massive head swinging out over the gently rolling waves, and its whole body's going to turn around to look back up the hill, which means its enormous tail is going to come sweeping by where you are.
Okay. So, am I supposed to take? I mean, it's so large. Is it just going to hit me?
Well, it might hit you. It depends on how athletic you are at this moment.
Okay. What do I have to roll?
The difficulty for the athletics check is 2. It's not actively trying to hit you as an attack, so it's not an opposed roll.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Yes. Can I narrate that success?
Yeah. How do you avoid this massive tail?
So this Gavin's running and he's just and he like turns slightly, and from the side of his eye he sees this huge tail just bounding towards him, and he knows that he does not have the athletic prowess to jump over the tail, and he just drops to the floor flat on his belly, and then the tail just goes over him, and he gets back up and he starts running again, not even considering the fact that he almost got hit by a tail that was the size of a building.
The passage in front of you is now significantly easier to run across, as most of the foliage is currently bent down, touching the earth.
Oh, nice. Gavin is just he's messed up. He's like down to 4 strain. His obligations are completely driving him crazy. This is the only thing he can think about. So he's just going for it. He doesn't care if he dies. He's just going to keep on going for that damn ship.
All right. Now, those of you back up on the hill, the creature has turned around. It's moving forward. It doesn't know where you are per se, but it's looking for trouble. The range has closed to medium. A simple check for initiative, please.
Oh.
This is cool. So we've got 1 advantage, 2 advantages, 2 successes, 2 successes, 2 advantages. Okay. This creature looks for its prey by using its devastating sonic weapon. It's going first, followed by the rest of you. Now, some of you have taken cover. How about you, Iggy?
I expect if there's any cover that I can just sort of duck down behind quickly, then I will have done. If it's a case of having to dig yourself in more that might have disrupted my shot, I'd have probably taken the shot, but I'll have sort of ducked down behind sort of a rock or something similar. Probably not going to give me an awful lot of cover, but more to sort of steady my aim rather than actual cover.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, this is an area of effect. And so we're now outside. It doesn't have the advantages of being underground. I'm applying setback to the roll to reflect that. And boom.
Oh.
The discharge from the beast blows the tops off the trees behind you, shattering them into splinters. But the shockwave, although punishing, right? Iggy, your vision distorts for a second. Same for the organics, right? Your eyes start to tear. Your ears just feel like someone has slapped them. But you're still okay.
Perhaps lucky, as it were.
So this creature is a
Zero. Do you want to take the first shot?
Yeah, I'll take the first shot.
Take the first.
Yes. And it's medium range?
It's medium range.
Oh. So 6, 7 plus 4 pierce. I'll pass the advantage off to whoever goes next for a boost dice. And then what I'm going to do is... We're along a cliff, right?
Basically.
So what I'm going to try and do is maybe take my maneuver to go down under cover. So trying to inch down along the cliff.
Closer.
And to get closer to kind of the ship, maybe.
Okay. So going by on the creature's left.
Yeah.
You're right. All right. Okay. This is a massive creature, a huge silhouette. It's not clear if you have harmed it or not. But it doesn't like the discharge of the weapon. It doesn't like and it reacts strongly. And it starts filling up those massive red and dark green air sacs again beneath its chin.
Okay, I'm going to sort of, again, following the sort of warning shots that Zero has laid out, I'm actually going to take aim, and I'm going to aim for the actual sort of throat sac that's starting to like inflate underneath it, and I'm going to spend a destiny point to up one on my dice.
And you got a boost dice for me as well.
Yeah, the difficulty's 2 because it's medium range.
Yes. 3. Medium range is 3.
3. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll be aiming at this large, bulbous, inflating throat sac, and I'll take a shot.
Nice.
Which will be doing it 11 points of damage.
Okay. You can see that you have done harm.
Okay, with the 2 advantages, I can spend it to perform a free maneuver. Does that include firing again, or is that not?
No, that's an action. So a free maneuver, like drawing a weapon, dropping a weapon, moving, that sort of thing.
Okay, in which case what I'll do is I'll start sort of circling around a bit, sort of trying to put a bit of distance between myself and Zero, with the idea that if we keep sort of fanning out, it eventually won't be able to get all of us in its sonic blast.
So Zero's going down the hill to its left, and you're moving off to its right?
Yeah, I'll be sort of circling down the hill myself, but to the right, as you say.
Okay. Nice. And Karn.
Sure. I'll follow Zero for the movement, and I will... What the heck? Take a shot at it. What could possibly happen? Here we go.
Enough time for Gavin to get away.
Fail.
I think that answers your what could possibly happen question.
Okay. 2 threats. I will apply those as strain.
Gavin wants to take an
And
action.
reduce one.
Okay, Gavin, it's your turn.
All right, how close am I to the ship?
You're pushing up over the rise now.
So how many rounds until I get there, just if I continue at this pace?
3 to get inside the ship.
Okay. Gavin's going to stop in his tracks, open up the sack with the crystal in it, and he's going... he's looking up at this twin suns, right?
Right, the sun and the body of the gas giant.
All right. He's going to take the sack and just go, and just like kind of mount it into the dirt. So just like this, like half of it just like got buried, and he's gonna go. All right, let's see if this works. Let's make a beacon. And he just goes and just opens it up to the sunlight and says what happens.
Okay. One moment, please.
Intermission.
What I thought you were going to do.
All right.
This requires extensive calculation. And,
That's right. For visual reference. Everybody's got that.
Okay.
I joke a little. So you expose it to the raw sunlight and the pure reflected light from the gas giant above, and this blue arcing light, like a beacon, exactly what you say, shoots up so bright it makes the daytime seem like night. And the creature notices. That's for certain. And it turns around again toward Gavin. Its huge head swinging over the position of cover where Zero has taken root. And from Iggy's point of view, you're now looking at the back corner of its skull where the hearing membranes are. And it stops, and its head is tracking this vast beam of light which is radiating up into the sky.
Roughly how far away from it am I at the moment?
You're still at medium range, and Zero has found himself. He could engage if he liked. The creature covers a lot of ground with each step.
But its focus is up.
The creature is looking up at the most significant event of the second.
Right. So I'm going to run for the ship using 3 maneuvers, and I'll take a strain to get that third maneuver.
All right. So just run through the jungle.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, since Zero's running through the jungle, and I'm hoping in the back of my sort of droid mind that if they get aboard that ship, there's some bigger guns on the ship that they can potentially use against this horrendous behemoth. So I'm going to, in order to hopefully keep its attention away from them, I'm again just going to take aim, and I'm hoping I can get some advantage from the fact that it's staring up and completely not paying attention to us. And then I'm just going to open fire with my blaster rifle again.
It's a massive stationary target. You're getting to attack it from behind, and you're aiming. That's a lot of boost there. So 4 boost. Actually.
Okay, and I'll again trying to sort of sight these. If I can see the bladder that's sort of inflated, like it's sticking out a bit beyond its head because it's like bulging out, I'll aim at that. If not, I'll be looking for a place where there's maybe a chink in the armor since its back's to me, and I'm carefully aiming at it. And then I will.
All of this is so large, it's basically a choice. It's like, yeah, I'll shoot that part of it. The back.
Yeah, I'll just if I can see the sort of throat bladder, I'll aim at that. If not, I'm just gonna.
Okay, that's your preferential target. Good enough.
Okay, so that's 11 damage and 1 advantage. I'll use the advantage to add 1 bonus dice to whichever of my allies takes the next action.
Okay. You know, again, you have done damage, but the creature is so large. The difference in silhouette and game mechanics terms is so big that the damage isn't drawing its attention more than the light.
Okay, I hope the
You
good
definitely
doctor
heard
can
it,
point out
and the stun hurt it. Yeah. All right, next.
Who's next?
We've got
You are.
running, shooting, Karn.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. I'll just take another shot at it, I guess. This time I'll aim.
You get a bonus dice. You get a bonus dice from me as well, so.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
2 boosts.
Yeah. 2 boosts, doesn't matter. I will pass that advantage off to whoever's next.
That would be Gavin. You're muted.
Gavin starts running towards the ship, leaving the beacon behind, away from the ship, and he starts running towards the ship. Buggy!
The creature screams at the sky, filling its throat and then launching its sonic blast up at the sky, much like Gavin had seen the Leviathanic whale do on his first day on the planet, just screaming for the sheer hell of it or the sheer joy of it. And all around you is silent, or you're deaf, one or the other, but you're pounding across the ground toward Foggy, who you can see sitting there in all its vast decrepitude on the beach. The tide has come in since you landed, so its struts are in the seawater.
Oh, come on! And he just keeps on running.
On the since I've got a long range comm link built in, if I can, I'm gonna, because I know I'm assuming Gavin's got some sort of comm link. I'm gonna try and sort of broadcast, and I'll just say,
If your ship has any weapons, get on board and use them quickly.
Gavin goes, "Oh, really?" And he just keeps on running.
Yes, really.
Droids.
Oh, humor module.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's confused. It doesn't know what's happening. It's moving out into the water. Its tail is thrashing. Waves are crashing up on the beach. It's pawing at the water. It's moving out toward the barrier reef, but then quickly it's whipping its head around to look back up toward the headland. It really doesn't know what's going on. Giving Iggy plenty of time to take aim.
okay. In which case, yeah, I'll take aim and fire at it, hoping that again I'm buying time for Zero to sort of and Gavin to work the way around and get to the ship. So am I still getting bonuses for it being a large stationary target?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool.
Whoa.
Nicely
Well,
done.
more like it.
Whoa! Yes! That is awesome!
Now, you don't
That's
have to
14
crit,
points of damage.
but, you know, if
I will,
you
though.
felt like it, you could.
I will crit. I have a crit rating of 3, so is that times 3 the damage it does, or
No, you
I'm not
spend
entirely up
3
on
of your
how the crit system works.
Yeah, you spend 3 of your advantages to roll on the critical hit table. And
Okay, cool.
sometimes that's really impressive, and sometimes it isn't. It's a percentage roll, so give us a percentile die. 58%.
You have
Which, I got it right here, yeah. Which is an agonizing wound. Which is going to decrease a variety of its checks, brawn and agility, until the end of the encounter. And if you've been continuing to shoot at that, at its voice projection gear, its voice box, and its air bladder, and this last shot, especially because you've managed to do so much damage, even though it's so large, has definitely had an effect. And as it fills up, that bladder is at the point when you hit, and we have a massive rupture which goes up the side of its face. It's not a life-threatening injury, but it's an agonizing wound, and the creature starts to thrash around in the water, and blood and ichor is streaming down. And it has a sense of where you are now.
Okay, on the comm link, I'm just going to shout.
Its ability to attack us is compromised. Go, go, go!
Well, I guess Zero will take that warning and start. And again, I'll take another strain and take 3 actions towards the ship to try and get onto the guns.
All right, 3 maneuvers. Yep. Okay. So you have caught up to Gavin, moving like a well-oiled machine.
Gavin's running and goes. He goes. Ah!
I suddenly had an image of like John Candy in a foot race with pretty much anybody. All right, so you're at the point where you're splashing through the water. Your rate of speed is slowing down. You're moving through the wet mud. This is the 3rd turn to get to Foggy, and Zero is seeing your ship up close for the first time. What exactly does he see?
Oh, he sees a ship similar to the Millennium Falcon, but if the Millennium Falcon was in bad condition, this one makes the Millennium Falcon look like it was in good condition. And it is just horribly. The maintenance has just waned on the ship. It is horribly maintained. It's just there's pipes hanging off of it. There's steams coming from vents that are not closed, that are supposed to be closed. Half of the blue light that comes from the jets that fire on, they're just not even coming on. It's just a mess. And you could hear Gavin go, "Yeah, baby!" Oh, there it is.
Zero just pull up and go, shake his head, not even say a word. More focused on getting to the gun.
Yeah.
Not even you came in that thing?
Yeah.
I figure that would be too cliche.
Cliche is my middle name, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Iggy. And Karn up on the hill.
Okay, well, I've just taken the shot at the creature, so does Khan want to?
Oh, is it my turn? Okay.
Sure.
What the heck? Let's just draw more attention. Sure. Is it still at, like, medium range?
No, for you, it's at short.
Oh, that's great. I actually don't want to hit with this blast. Anyway, here we go. I'll take aim too for my maneuver.
Okay. So it's
And
making its
I
way up the headland. You hit.
finally for 7 damage.
Okay. You see the energy spatter across some of the scales underneath, and you're not sure if it's done any damage in terms of threatening the creature's life. But if you were a lesser man, less trained in the ability to resist psychological stress, its sudden lowering of its head to search the underbrush near where you are would definitely apply strain to you.
I feel that I should be making a fear check at this moment.
This is the point where we make a fear check, yes.
Yes, exactly. I think I'm pissing my pants at this point. Do you
Now,
actually
Iggy, you're immune to the fear check, so yes. So this is discipline.
Discipline.
Or willpower. And the difficulty is 4. And I see there are no light side destiny points left because I've been remiss in my spending of them, so I will help you out by spending 1.
Okay, that's fine with me. I failed anyway.
I see. So yes, reasonably speaking, you're afraid.
I think I'll do that. I'll actually piss my pants at that moment.
I suspect so.
I'm looking at this creature, and it looks like it's staring right at me.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him. No.
Yeah. The effect of such a check. Iggy's leaking oil now. The effect of such a check has you staggered.
Does that mean I have setback die, or I can't move?
Yeah, this is the loss of maneuvers. So you're pinned in place by fear.
Okay.
You can still act to protect yourself.
Okay. So I'm cowering, is what you're saying, basically.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, and we cycle through again. The creature's action is searching for prey. And we'll see how that goes for it. It's injured condition.
Succeed. Don't succeed. Don't succeed.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, there we go.
Oh, awesome.
Yes!
Awesome.
Yes!
Okay.
Okay.
Iggy, it's turning your way. Karn.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Just a second. Karn, its foot, as it shifts its position, searching the undergrowth, right? Its nose is tossing the brushes under which you're hiding, right over your head. And its foot just scrapes past where you are sitting. The claw of the back claw of its foot misses you by inches. And then hundreds of meters away, it feels like, that foot gets put down, far, far away from you, and the body of the creature turns, pointing toward where Iggy was firing from.
So, basically, I've just found religion. I believe in God now.
Dave, can you hear us? I noticed that you dropped.
Yeah, I'm back on now.
Okay. All right. So Iggy, it's pointing basically in your direction. You don't know if it can see you or not, and its air bladder is heaving. It's completely deflated on one side. It seems to be trying to use the weapon but cannot.
Okay, so if it's trying to, I imagine that if it's trying to like continually sort of reinflate this air bladder, it's continually like opening its mouth to like
just gasping
taking
and
sort of air ready to.
Yeah.
Okay, and having seen the sort of foot just come down next to where our medic is, I need to make sure it doesn't look around and notice him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim sort of carefully. I'm going to wait hold my action until just for a few moments as its mouth sort of opens to try and reinflate its bladder, and then I'm going to try and fire off a salvo blaster fire into its open mouth in the hope that at the very least it will keep its attention away from the Doctor.
You are so cruel. Into its mouth.
Splendid,
okay, go for it. Make it happen.
I already have done 5 successes, 3 advantages.
That's another crit.
Nicely
So
done,
I'll
sir.
do it another 14 damage and a 5% on the crit.
All right. Now, of course, I'm applying a lesser amount of damage because it's higher silhouette, but you've done enough damage to do damage, and a percentile roll. You got 5%, which is increased by 10 as it's the second, making a 15, which is a sudden jolt. The creature is surprised and is convinced that the attack came from an area it did not, and it's looking back out at the sea. Possibly that's where its natural predators or opposition are to be found. So it whips its head around, it's looking back out to sea as if it didn't notice you at all.
Can I presume that during all of this combat that this creature's been making like a lot of noise or sort of growling or howling, etc.? I believe you said
Definitely
it was sort of howling upwards when it's still thing. But can I take a strain to do an extra maneuver? And what I'm going to try and do, since presumably that howl that it's made is like recorded in my sort of droid memory, I'm effectively going to try and broadcast that out of my own sort of vocabulary later, in the hope that it don't think, oh dear, here comes another big member of my own species. At the very least, it will get its attention.
Right. That's hilarious. Now, of course, it won't be as loud as what it's used to, but maybe it'll think it's from very far away. You can definitely do that.
That's what I'm hoping. Okay.
Okay.
Dude, that was great.
That's really cool.
That was good.
For Iggy, what is his presence and deception or cunning or anything along those lines?
Minimal. Okay. I'm basically on a presence of 1.
Presence of 1. Okay.
Wow.
Would you like to spend a destiny pool to make that have a little bit more teeth?
Yes, go on then, I will do.
All right. So I'm going to give it your presence as its difficulty. Don't worry, it's not the brightest creature out there. Okay. And it's dazed and confused. All right. Okay. It does not see through your thin deception. It has some advantages. So it's moving behind the headland on the other side of the bay. So that wounded area that you've been hitting and hitting and hitting, its open mouth, its ears, its air bladder, is now down behind the rocky outcropping. You can still see the entire massive rest of it, but it's searching for whatever is attacking it. It's not taking the bait per se of going crashing off into the woods, but it's not attacking you anymore either, and it's heading in the opposite direction. Gavin and Zero reach foggy horizon.
All right, Gavin taps the side of the ship. The landing ramp goes down.
Splashes into the water.
Splashes into the water. He goes in and he runs to the controls of the ship, and he sits down, puts a seatbelt on, looks over to see if the hunter, if Zero is secure before he does anything else.
I'm gonna run in behind him, and I would have gone looking for, I guess, probably where the guns would be. So I'm hoping they're in the same normal spot.
There's a top-mounted turret, yes.
All right, I'll head to the top mounted.
All right, here we go! And then he's just, let's go, Foggy!
And They just take off and they go back towards the location where their allies are.
Also, Zero, as you pass through the central core of Foggy Horizon, you're noticing on pretty much every display a long list of urgent maintenance requests from the ship. System compromise, system compromise, system compromise. Engines seem to be fine. Atmosphere seems to be fine, but everything else is pretty touch and go. Guns, well, we'll see.
Okay. Well, I'll try and turn them on and try and track the beast as the ship is taking off.
All right. Iggy and Karn, you're hearing the sound, the familiar and welcome sound of starship engines powering up as the creature is thrashing away on the other side of the headland. You can see about its back hindquarters and its tail from where you guys are.
How near is Khan to the ship?
3 or 4 turns of concerted movement through the underbrush.
Okay, I'm going to continue firing at the creature. So, continuing to, I'll take a strain to take a maneuver to continue, sort of slowly circling around, keeping my aim on it, just sort of hoping that I can buy enough time for the doctor to get on board the ship, or at least I can sort of pick him up without danger of this thing crushing the ship like an eggshell.
And the newly religious Dr. Karn.
I'm gonna spend all. I'm gonna double move it towards the ship.
Okay. So you can see Karn pushing it through the shrubbery, and you get in position for another shot.
Okay, that's 2 successes and 5 advantages for me.
Jeez.
Okay.
So
I'm going to apply the advantages, if you don't
normally.
mind, to confusion, unless you want to use them to alleviate your own strain.
No, I'm quite happy to go with the confusion.
Okay. So it's trying to make its loud call. It can't inflate. It's in extreme pain. It's slamming itself into the rocky side of the island. You can feel the tremors moving, and you can hear the cycling up of the ship. And Gavin?
We go. Well, I take the ship. I fly the ship in a circle outside towards the water, away from the ridge where they're fighting, and I tilt on my axis so that the heavy lasers are easily accessible, and he can fire at will.
Okay.
And I will fire.
Okay.
What is the range? So, am I medium or long?
Oh, you're in vehicle terms. You're right there. You're close.
All right.
Close. Yeah.
All right. So 2
And so
difficulty.
it's a 2 difficulty, mostly because the ship isn't really built to be firing on organic beings. So.
Here we go. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
And that's a crit.
Is it a crit for the guns on the ship?
Hell yeah, it is.
Nice.
15 damage with a 2 crit.
Nice. So 15, 16 damage, and then the crits.
84%.
84, but that's plus
20.
Plus 20, so 104.
Yep.
Okay. The the creature gets hit by ship weapons. Suddenly, turning the tide of battle in a very significant way. And now, it's basically the same scale as the ship. So the heavy lasers do a gross amount of physical damage to the living tissue of the creature. There's no doubt about that. And it gets knocked flat, and it's turning around. And sorry, I missed the crit of 84.
It's actually 104.
Oh, sorry, 104 is, yes, maimed. Its rear leg is useless. And it's right. You can imagine this long-tailed, four-limbed, saurian-headed creature with these big back spines. Its deflated air sac. It's roiling around on the beach and up against the stone wall, and it's trying to scream, but all this that comes out is this kind of thin hiss. You can see glinting up on the headland behind it the metal body of Iggy, and you quickly fly by, and now you're behind the volcano, needing to come around again.
Yes, that was awesome. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, if the people piloting the starship want to take the first player slot in this turn, I don't think any of us would object.
We will happily take that.
Or at least the person shooting.
Yeah.
We will happily take that slot, IG 100, and we will go, with permission of the GM, of course.
Yep, I'm good with that. The creature is unable to fire back on you with its devastating weapon.
Gavin goes, "Take it, do it again!" And he's just ship's coming, just coming around. You could see the blue light coming from the back of the ship. It's circling around the volcano. It turns around the beacon, and then once again it comes next to the ship, next to the monster, and
fire. And Zero's just like, steady. Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take a strain on that one.
Even if I were the sort to want to keep the creature alive just because it was interesting, I've turned me into like 50 kinds of liar. Yeah, cruel. Headshot. The creature finally finds its enemy. It's looking up at the sky. It sees the ship coming in. It opens its mouth to bellow, but it can't bellow. But it can die. And down it goes in a heap.
And Gavin just flying the ship. It's shaking, and he's going, "Woo! Yeah!"
Now, up in the gunnery console, the ship is just, there's this red light blinking, and there's this list of systems that urgently need checking, right? And words like unsafe, unfiltered, disconnected are scrolling by, but the ship seems to be moving just fine.
All right. Do I notice cracks in the bubble where I was just firing?
Nope, everything's good up there. It's like no one's ever been up there before.
Oh.
So I circle the ship back and head towards the landing area, towards the clearing now, which used to be forestation and heavy brush. But since the sonic blast has cleared it away,
Yes.
I land a ship near Iggy and Karn, and I put the landing lamp down, and I just get out of the captain's chair, and I look back in the back of the ship, and I'm waiting to see Zero come out, and I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Yay! And
Zero's just calmly, he's like, that was awesome. Actually,
I'll
I
have been
have the
moving
incredible urge
to retrieve the crystal.
Good plan.
We're gonna get that there in a second. He's going to get the crystal.
Zero, what was your incredible urge?
I need to get a tooth from that monster, from the beast. Some proof that I killed that thing.
How big's the cargo hold of the ship?
Definitely.
It'll fit. You can put it in the cargo hold. Yeah.
Wear that for a necklace.
Karn's gonna go up to the ship, kiss the ship, and the first thing he's gonna go and look for is a pub inside the ship or some kind of beverage. Because man, does he need it!
I'm assuming that there has to be something on the ship. I mean,
Well, there is.
It's Gavin.
On the table in the lounge, something that Gavin has now passed like 6 or 7 times since it has been there. There's this bowl of fruit and a welcome note from Captain 8. Next to it is a very large bottle of something vile.
I'll pick up the bottle of something vile and down that.
Refreshing. So the doctor's upending a bottle in the lounge. You guys are plotting out
stupor time.
Plotting out how to get the tooth. Iggy is recovering the crystal.
Yeah.
And a change of pants. I'll need a change of pants too.
Okay. And the sun starts to set on our adventure. Within the next hour, you're able to free the tooth, load it into the cargo hold. The crystal is undamaged, but sensors indicate that the beacon of light did not go unnoticed, most likely by Captain 8 and his crew. Ships are on the way. The need to lift off may be necessary. Any final words from our crew?
Gavin looks around and notices his new allies, his new partners in crime. He realizes the situation that he's in. He understands. It's extremely stressful for him to go against his obligation, but he is at the point where he has to make that decision. And he'll take whatever penalties are necessary for that decision to take place. But he looks back and he says, "Shall we go, gentlemen?"
Let's do it.
Is there a co-pilot on this ship or anything?
No. Just you.
In which case, yeah. Since I do have the ability to pilot, oddly enough, I'll just drop down into the co-pilot ship and just give her a nod.
I'll set up the astrogation. I can astrogate, and after of course leaving my tooth and kind of petting it gently, and plotting the coordinates.
When I'm sober again, I'll take a look at the ship's systems. I am also a mechanic.
I say my last words for the session will be, Iggy, plug into the ship and see what you can fix.
Iggy plugs in, and the last words in this session are from Foggy, giving voice to something it's been trying to say for years. It simply says, "Help me." Alright, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me for this game. And,
thank you.
Thanks very much for running it.
Yeah, I had a great
pleasure,
time, guys.
as always.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you, guys.
Andre, it must be like 4 o'clock in the morning?
It's 4:22, and I don't care because I just had an excellent game with you guys.
Awesome.
I don't know what you're complaining about, dude. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here.
I got up at 5 a.m. for this, which is awesome. Thanks a lot.
No problems. Really enjoyed it.
All right. I know, David, you got to take off.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
Okay,
It was great playing with you guys.
Yeah, it was great fun. Thanks a lot.
And yourselves.
All right.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
All right. So this brings to an end this Star Wars session, our mostly impromptu. If anyone's curious about how much of that was planned and how much of that just kind of came out of the moment, feel free to drop a line in the comments. I'll be happy to discuss it. Take care. For other great Star Wars action, check out Red Dice Diaries. They're doing a great series. Terror on the Outer Rim, is it called, John?
That's correct, yes. And currently our players have discovered some potential, shall we say, underhand dealings by the Imperial Biological Weapons Division, Who would have thought it?
What? They're bringing peace and order to the galaxy. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's the sort of concrete fist in the iron glove.
And also, as always, check out Star Wars: The Tides of Change, which has moved from being just one storyline to being, I believe, 700.
Yeah, it's 7 running storylines that intertwine between sessions, and some players are hunting other players during different sessions, and as those sessions collide, you're going to have PvP sessions where you're going to have full-on fights, and it's going to be pretty cool.
All right.
And you're like a Star Wars machine.
It's not only me. It's really, honestly, it's the players. They're all doing it. I'm just the one reffing, and they're just making some amazing stories.
It's cool stuff. All right, that's it for us. If you've watched all the way through it, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.